We want to thank our sponsors for making it possible to bring you this New Lisbon Rockets football game. Silver Star Health, organic food, gym, coffee, flowers and gifts, taking care of your mind, body, and soul. Rudig Jensen, Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. Your next adventure awaits. Mile Bluff, New Lisbon Family Medical Center. Healthcare evolving for life. Image Production Studios. Life is short. Make it an amazing story.
They're keeping it.
Yeah, a little keeper option there.
Picking up some yards.
All right, let's see how many he got on that one. Looks like they definitely had the defense guessing a little bit. Should be about 2 yards shy.
Looks like bring up about third, a long 2 for the Rockets at the Cardinal 41.
The offensive line there opened up a great hole for him to get those yards and push through.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they continue to match up. I know that the offensive line has been a bit of a project over the last couple of years, simply because there's been a high changeover in personnel.
Oh, the sweep going under. Oh, he has a blocker there. Oh, going back inside, makes the cut.
Nice cut.
He's going.
Nice
He's going to the house. Oh.
Ooh.
Zach Lowe cuts it back inside.
Just short.
Big gainer taken down by number 88, Dylan
Just
Tyler.
short of the goal line there.
Yeah, that was great. You know, I think a lot of times in the high school level, you tend to see running backs a little hesitation in committing to go downfield, and it looks like, you know, he took one cut and he just went straight upfield, really gashed him on over pursuing. So the real question is, what do you do here? I know everyone that's watching is kind of thinking the same thing, but you just stick out the run?
I think you try pounding it one more time. Maybe open up play action next down.
Ooh, looks like the ball could be loose. That's a tough one to turn over right there.
Fumbles on the play. Fumble is recovered by the Cardinals.
That's too.
Heads up play on the defense though, seeing the ball on the ground and jumping on it right away.
Yeah, absolutely. I get excited when I see guys battling it out up there, and it looks like this has a lot of that heat to it. But you know, you hope that the game kind of continues on with this kind of energy.
Results of the Spirit Week activities at halftime.
5 wide receivers set.
Empty backfield.
Oh, quarterback's looking to run. He's got some room. You know, you want to get out of the danger zone
Sailor on the keeper.
Of potentially getting a safety or getting knocked
Sam
back.
Rogers on tackle for the Rockets.
Yeah, I know. It seems like Necedah likes to go out of the shotgun when they can. That's a tough place to go out of the shotgun there when you don't really know what to protection.
You know, it's tough for your linebackers to know what to do. They're trying to watch quick slant routes. They're trying to, especially on a 5 wide out set, you're trying to, you know, stay covering tight, yet you have to always worry about the quarterback keeper.
Absolutely. Especially when you've got a quarterback who gets as many yards as what Sailor seems to.
Oh, he's airing it out. He's got a man.
Oh, that was a great pitch and catch.
He's going. He's got it. Oh, one last chance.
Sailor's pass complete to Jared Murphy.
Great effort at the end by Cody Hashke. Couldn't really close the gap. Really had a good effort at the end to try and get him though.
To a 6-0 lead.
You know, that's just a punch in the stomach. We were right on the other goal line, about to pound it in, and then turnovers happen.
Absolutely. You'd like to see that fire keep going. It can be hard to sustain that. One thing I think that a lot of teams tend to deal with is the ebb and flow of emotions over the course of a game. You know, football, like many sports, is a pretty emotional game. You know, it'd be nice to see a lot of fire coming back with these guys to try and bounce back.
Mm-hmm. Big stop here if they can do it. You know, I mean, you want to limit the scoring as much as possible, especially against, you know, a rivalry
Sailors
game.
attempting conversion to Dustin Sparby, incomplete. Robert Robinson on the coverage for the Rockets. Score remains 6-0.
One thing I'd like to see here coming up is I'd like to see them continue to attack with that running game. A great way to control the ball game, control the time of possession. Some of the things that really help a good team succeed is, you know, stay with what works. And as well as they were doing on the ground to begin with, I'd really like to see that continue.
Oh, but everybody loves the long ball, Jared. Come on now.
As we just saw, it's a pretty electrifying play.
Well, in a quick strike, I mean, we'll see what New Lisbon comes back with, but I think you are right. I mean, they were pounding the ball very effectively, and see where they go from here.
I did get a chance to see New Lisbon's kicker warming up ahead of time, and it looks like he had a pretty good range. So I know that, you know, as the game goes on, it'll be interesting to see if Necedah is able to, if Necedah has a kicker, and what that extra point might have played into. At the high school level, I guess, you know, what's your experience? Do you see teams have a lot of success kicking the ball, or do you just kind of see more of going for it on that extra point attack?
You know, you see a lot more going for two in my experience from high school football. You know, having kicking in Wisconsin is not easy to begin with. The weather always plays a factor, especially when we're coming. I mean, we're so close to October already. Unlike last week when it was 90 degrees. So.
Yeah,
here's
quite a bit of difference. I don't know if this one's going to stay in bounds or not.
Looks like it's going out. Oh, no, he has to pick it up.
Stay.
Way to make something out of it. He's
Cover
going.
that ball up.
Good. Another broken tackle.
Cover that ball up.
Go, go, go. Big kick return. Big kick return. Great stop at number 11.
Hey, that's a great way to counterpunch right there. You know, like you said, it's real punch in the gut when you get a big hit like that, go for long and score. But to have another, you know, have the following kick return come back like that, you know, that's a great way to start that.
Well, the fact they answered so quickly, I mean, it may not show on the scoreboard, but starting beyond midfield, I mean, sorry about that, starting right at midfield, huge. This is a huge opportunity for them to get that 6 back.
Absolutely. And like Coach Beaver mentioned, I mean, this is homecoming. You've got a rivalry here. I mean, there's no lack of fire, and now it's just
there you
to
go.
be determined whether or not you're going to sustain that.
Big run. Oh, way to stay on his feet.
Looks like that's Sam Rogers. Sam Rogers, a junior from New Lisbon.
Up the middle.
Great
Brought down by number 56.
That was a great run. Great run.
Absolutely. And like I said earlier, sometimes you see, and as a junior, I don't know how much experience he's got, you know, previous to this year, but to see a kid really hit the hole hard like that and really, you know, take it up. A lot of times it can be hard to know when the right time to go upfield is, and you kind of want to make the best decision you can. It looks like he really did there.
Up the middle.
Another inside handoff.
You know,
Peterson up the middle, brought
sticking
down by
to
the
what
interior of the Cardinals
brought
line.
them to the goal line the last time.
Absolutely.
Second and goal at around the 5-yard line, just inside the 5.
So we haven't seen play action yet. We've seen a couple of inside handoffs and some misdirection. If you were a coach in this situation, Bones, you think you're thinking about play action now?
I think on second now I'm pounding it again. Try and pound up the middle. Stick to what got you there. Oh, down short of the goal
Sam
line.
Rogers up the middle, gain of about 3. We'll call it the 2-yard line.
Well, there you go. Now you've got one down.
At the bottom of the pile.
Yeah, one down to get in. If you're close, I mean, if you get another yard, are you going for it this early in the ball game, or are you taking your points to the field goal if you feel comfortable doing that?
I think I'm still trying to hammer the ball down, but they got wide out, far left side. They have 2 backs. We'll see what they end up doing. Oh,
is that a keeper?
Trying to get, oh.
And he makes it in.
Good second effort, gets into the end zone from 2 yards out.
Quick strike ability with this rushing game.
Absolutely. Definitely some hesitation on the defensive line there. I know a couple of guys on the defensive line for Necedah, you know, look like real solid guys there, but some hesitations kind of cost them a little bit, it looks like. Also, another heads-up play, in my opinion, by Gunnar Peterson. They're reaching out, making sure that ball crossed the plane, but still had it secure. So, I mean, a lot of respect for a young athlete there, a sophomore.
Oh, looking for the pass.
And it's good. Manages it inside the end zone.
2-point conversion. Gunnar Peterson and Cody Haskey. The Rockets go up 8-6.
I mean, 2 quick scores. I mean, this is the game that both schools could wish for. I mean, I'm sure on the defensive side, they really wish they had made those stops, but you can't complain when we're scoring back and forth like this.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Raise money for the athletic department. It's an athletic fundraiser. You get your
And
large cheese,
on a cold night, as a fan, I think the last thing you want is a defensive grudge match. As someone who sat through a couple of those types of games, you know, I really do appreciate good football being played, but it can be hard to sit through a game with a really low-scoring game for a really long time when it's cold. I mean, if I'm a fan for New Lisbon on your homecoming night, I got to figure pretty excited about what it looks like right now.
Nothing's better as a fan in this weather to remove the blanket because you're jumping up and cheering so much. The last thing you want to do is just be huddled in that blanket by yourself, if I'm not mistaken.
Absolutely, absolutely. Everybody loves an excuse to jump up, and you know, I seem to remember Wisconsin kind of, you know, the student section at the Badger game, you know, jump around is, you know, there's a kind of a historic feel to some of that, and I think in the high school level, any chance you get to do something like that, you know, or something similar to that, I think you take it. So far we've seen a pretty good kick return from New Lisbon here and a decent one from Necedah.
Oh, trying the onside.
Looks like for a surprise onside. I don't know if it's going to cross.
I don't think it's far enough.
Don't think it's gone 10 yards yet.
Peterson's onside kick ends up just short of the 10 yards.
Alrighty, so it looks like it didn't cross the 10 yards, which, as we both know, ball needs to cross 10 yards on the kickoff in order for it to be recovered by the kicking team.
What this is going to set up, though, this is a complete setup throughout the game. Necedah is going to have to think about that onside kick, because if that would have been 10 yards, they would have got it back.
Yep. Looked like the front line for Necedah was kind of on their heels on that one. Maybe they weren't ready. So if you're New Lisbon here, you kind of wish you'd been able to execute on that and take advantage of that. You know, we'll see if that plays in later on too. That's another missed opportunity for them, unfortunately.
On homecoming night, you see trickery. Look at the run.
Quick to it. Looks like New Lisbon's sticking with the 3-man defensive front here on a team that likes to attack from different angles on the offensive backfield. Do you think you're going to see that kind of approach for the rest of the game, or do you think they're going to need to adjust that as time goes on?
They may have to adjust it here and there, but the passing game from Necedah, as we saw earlier, is strong. So you got to worry about the receivers. Every single receiver from Necedah can make a big game.
So you've got 6 defensive backs out there right now. 1 blitzing linebacker. Incomplete. Looks like Saylor had to rush the throw on that one. Pressure from number 20, Sam Rogers, who just had that great long run, and now on defense, playing linebacker. Hey, you know, what does that take? What does that cost a guy over the course of the game to be a workhorse on offense and to be the center of the defense? Is that something he's going to be able to sustain?
Well, you know it's going to take a little out of anybody. Even these young guys that have all the energy in the world, it takes out. It really does. But we'll see if they have the stamina to make it through this game. I mean, homecoming, you're running on adrenaline the whole game.
Absolutely. So 3rd and long here.
The run. Oh, nope, he's got it.
Looks like Saylor finds his man. That'd be number 11, Tyler Reichel.
Tyler Reichel with the first down completion.
Always nice to see a senior be able to help the team and contribute there.
35.
So, Jared, I know you've played quite a bit of football. In this weather, and granted, it's definitely not cold, but on a chilly night like this, how does it feel getting hit with the pads?
You know, the first one's always the worst one. And for me, I played defensive line. I wanted to get that out of the way right away so that I didn't have to wait for that.
Completion.
All right, now it looks like we've got the long touchdown was completed to the left side, but every other completion has been on the right side so far. Necedah's trying to attack on equal footing here.
Well, especially when he scrambles out to that side, he's a weapon. As a D-back, you can't leave your until you know he's beyond the line of scrimmage.
Yep, definitely. You know, it's as living in Wisconsin, you see a lot of Packer games. You know, that's an Aaron Rodgers specialty rolling out like that. You know, you wonder what kind of effect that has on the high school athlete seeing that so much.
Oh, the pitch. Up in the air, getting some extra yards.
Yeah, it looks like sophomore there, Jaron, had a chance to cut up field. Shoestring tackle saved some yards on that one.
Bringing up 3rd and 6 at the 31-yard line.
Now, Jared, on this, get as many yards as possible. 4th down, you go for it.
Yeah, you know, again, I think that comes back to the kicking situation. The first kickoff that we saw by Necedah wasn't terribly deep, so we don't know really what their options are as with a kicker. You know, in my mind here, I can understand going for the home run ball after just hitting one. So I really don't think there's a bad option here if it's a play you're comfortable with and you run well.
Looking up, almost breaks the sack, gets some yards out of it.
Looks like some great penetration there by the defensive line, number 72, Gavin Raddick. That's the kind of thing you want to see from your defensive line. You know, he wasn't able to wrap him up. The defense did rally to prevent a further gain, but that's the kind of thing, as the game goes on, you know, it really cuts into a passing game when you're rushing with 3 defensive linemen and the offensive line is having a hard time holding them. So if you can expect that kind of penetration as the game goes on, I think that's really going to favor New Lisbon.
You know, they got a big 3rd down earlier in the game off of quarterback keeper rolling out. We'll see what happens here.
Yeah, he's a right-handed quarterback and rolling to his left here. That could be a challenge to throw back across. Looks like he did make a completion. I don't know if he's going to have enough, though.
Complete to Jared Murphy. Short of 1st down yardage. Rockets take over on downs.
Already, so they did make the completion, but yeah, like I said, that can be a tough play there if a right-handed quarterback rolling to your left side and then trying to complete that down the field for, you know, at a 4th and 7. That could be a tough play.
Selling 50-50 raffle tickets. Get your 50-50 raffle. Help me safety patrol.
Homecoming night. How lucky do you feel with this 50-50 raffle I hear is going on? I think I may have to go find my wallet.
I think that if I'm going to participate in a 50-50 raffle, it's going to be on homecoming night when there's likely going to be a pretty big pot. I'm not much of a gambling man myself.
Good cause too.
Well, absolutely, and I was just going to say I'm not much of a gambling man myself, but it always feels good when it goes back to the community. So you know that even if you didn't win, you know everybody still kind of wins a little bit.
He's got the ball. He's looking deep.
Looks like he's got a man. Can he make it? He makes the catch for a big play on New Lisbon's end. That's huge. That's fantastic.
You know, I've been saying it all night. By pounding the run, it opens up the passing game, and it did there. I'm glad they were able to make that connection.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got a junior with obviously a lot of speed here. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Cody had missed some time due to injury. I talked to Coach Beaver, and he said he'd been missing some components of his passing game, and I believe Cody has had some time with some injury. But you know, injuries really play a part when you've got a crew that's kind of down in numbers a little bit this year for New Lisbon. So it's good to see them be able to have some early success with the passing game too.
Here we go, run again, sweeping outside. He's got blockers. He's got blockers. There he goes.
Did he get in?
The end zone from 25 yards out.
And he did.
25 left in the first quarter. Rockets 14, Cardinals 6.
You know, that's great. The thing I'd like to point out there is there was some really great blocking on the outside. The defensive lineman for Necedah did a wonderful job of fighting outside. It looks like it was Marcus Sturbins of fighting outside and trying to get pressure on that. But I think there was 3 guys in front of the runner at that point. I mean, that's some fantastic blocking on the edge.
Well, and it's from the running back, way to use your blockers. Because how often do you see blockers out downfield and you don't use your blockers right? That was huge.
Absolutely. You know, and you've mentioned the energy from homecoming night. You know, it's tough to have patience as a running back sometimes too. So to be able to follow the blockers and do that, that's pretty neat to see.
Oh, looking out for a pass. Oh, is he going to run it there?
Looks like a bit of a broken play.
Peterson's pass attempted for Haskey incomplete. Score remains 14-6.
And that's big scoring on being able to score in the run, that touchdown. I mean, the big part about that is, yes, they've been able to run the ball all night, but they did have that turnover down at the goal line. And they, as you could tell, they forgot all about it, and they keep on running.
Absolutely. When you look at athletes that that do well repeatedly, nobody's perfect, and I think sometimes the best thing you can have as an athlete is a short memory when it comes to failure. Losing a ball, that can happen to anybody. Dropping an interception, it can happen to anybody. But it takes a strong athlete mentally to continue to really pour everything he has into every play. And, it's easy to get distracted by mistakes. So it's exciting to see a team that can bounce back, that can shake off an early mistake and, keep on putting it forward.
We want to thank our sponsors for making it possible to bring you this New Lisbon Rockets football game. Silver Star Health, organic food, gym, coffee, flowers and gifts, taking care of your mind, body, and soul. Rudig Jensen, Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. Your next adventure awaits. Mile Bluff, New Lisbon Family Medical Center. Healthcare evolving for life. Image Production Studios. Life is short. Make it an amazing story.
So okay, now if you're Necedah here, you've got a chance to score early, and they did. They capitalized a great play, a long play that can really deflate the other team sometimes. So if you're Necedah here, you just got scored on twice, consecutive times. What's the thought? What's the approach? How are you trying to address what's going on right now?
Well, first of all offense, you gotta take care. You gotta try to get some more points on the board, or at least play the field position game. But on defense, you got to keep your head up and keep grinding it out there, because as you know, the team's running the ball and just running really effectively on you. It really takes a toll on just your mentality of what you're doing out there.
Now, what do you think's going through your mind if you're standing in the front line here when the ball's coming?
Well, look, they're leaning, they're looking for it, and again, a short kick.
Peterson's swim kick recovered by number 25, Sparby.
You mentioned
take over first and 10 at their own 40-yard line.
Bones, you mentioned the field position game. So how does that feel if you're New Lisbon to go and squib kick? And do you think that was a failed onside kick? What do you think's going on there?
I think it was a failed onside kick, and I don't know if you want to leave Necedah with this great field position. As we've seen their passing attack, it doesn't take much for them to get a quick score. As strong as their passing attack is, I mean, we might see one here pretty quick. Oh, fumble, recovers. Kind of broken play, getting some yards out of it, breaking down the middle, getting yards. Breaking another tackle before he's brought down.
Hey, that's just a great job. Sometimes you see kids panic when you get a broken play like that, but to be able to come up with it, and if you notice, his eyes are downfield the entire time, constantly looking for what he can do with the ball. And another thing I'll say too, to be able to make that tackle from behind, it was a good effort to. The temptation when you get beat on defense deep sometimes is to stop working, but when you do that, the long runs tend to be touchdowns instead of just long runs, and that was a great job to come back for that one.
Big tackle. I think it's by number 30. Trying to catch the number, but apparently I didn't bring my old man glasses. There's the snap, looking at a run, going around the corner, big gain there.
That's Jaron Murphy again. So we've seen some runs by Jaron Murphy. We've seen the quarterback Miles Saylor get some runs himself in. Do you think you're going to see anybody else getting touches at this point? Now you're trying to. I guess my question is, at this point, are you trying to show them something different, or you're trying to continue to establish what you've been doing well?
I think you continue to what you're doing well. The thing that I'm wanting and kind of waiting for is, yes, they ran the ball. The passing game is open up the run, but do you pass it here?
First down, I guess we'll have to wait and see. I'm not Tony Romo. I can't guess every play.
You clearly are not Tony Romo. Tony Romo would have shaved before this broadcast.
Well, Tony Romo's got better taste than I do, I'd say.
Start signaled on the Cardinals.
All right, so we got a false start here.
It's a little tough there. A little tough after such a great gaining to pull off a false start, but that's all right.
Yeah.
You know, first penalty, I think, of the night.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right, Bones. That's the first penalty of the night. And when I'm talking to high school athletes and I want them to compete in the right frame of mind, a lot of times it comes to controllable mistakes. And I think that's true in athletics at every level. How do you cut down on some of these mistakes when the stakes are as high as they are on homecoming night with your rival? Sanders rolling out to his left again. Looks like he's caught from behind.
Sailor taken down for a loss by Robert Robinson.
Yeah, you know, and as we've been saying all night, homecoming for both teams is important. Home team, the last thing they want to do is come home with a loss. And then on the flip side, if you're the visitors and Necedah, the last thing you want to do is let them win. You know, every game is important, but there's something about homecoming night that makes it a little more special.
And what is it about spoiling homecoming night that is so thrilling? So for you as an athlete in high school, what did that mean to you to be able to come into somebody's home and and really mess up their plans?
Much like Reggie Miller, I would much rather spoil someone's evening.
Did he make the catch?
Good completion. Something about going to the other person's house and having that kind of joy as you're walking out, you're seeing the fans a little down, the team's a little down, but they lost. Something about that always just gave my competitive spirit, got me going.
Yeah, I'd have to agree.
I mean, think about Reggie Miller at the Garden. It wouldn't have been nearly as important if it was, in Indiana.
Yeah, that's a true statement. Settings, I think, have...
Granted, I don't think I see Spike Lee here. There's a lot of pressure there. Getting the ball out, though.
There you go. Lisbon's able to knock the ball down, save themselves a little time. Looks like Necedah's going to go with another offensive play here.
Gunnar Peterson, pass breakup, will bring up 4th and 7 for the Cardinals.
So, it's tough where they're at, where they're located. It's tough not to go for it, but you wonder if you should, try to attempt the field goal or punt them and just field position and let your defense try to stop them.
Yeah, we've got 20 seconds left in the first quarter. Once the switch ends here in a minute, I tend to agree with you. I think you're a little close to punt at this point in time, but it's interesting to not see a field goal here. Looks like a tip pass. I don't know if he's able to catch it. That looks like he trapped it. So we've got another failed 4th down conversion for Necedah in what could be believed to be field goal range. It kind of makes you wonder what kind of confidence coach has in his kicker right now.
15 seconds left in the first quarter.
For the record,
14-6.
I don't consider kicking to be something easily done.
No, not at all. I mean, it's one of the hardest plays in high school football, let alone looking at NFL, college. A lot of pressure gets put on those kickers.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, there's a handful of games even at the NFL level that stick out as botched kicks or botched punts that really were the difference in a game.
Got another blocker upfield if he gets there.
So I'm looking at number 33, Isaac Labuda, senior, giving everything out there, and he had a really great block on a much bigger athlete, number 69, Marcus Sturbins from Necedah. And as a guy who appreciates a good block, to see a guy really sell out like that against a bigger opponent, and just really work. I mean, to me, that's a pretty impressive block that allowed that to go for some yards.
Looking at the instant replay, he cut in. But granted, I don't know if he would have thrown the defender off his feet there. But if he would have cut in, he had more blockers inside. Could have possibly got a few more yards. But still, a great run, great tackle.
Once again, at halftime,
so we've got the second quarter starting off here. I'm looking at a couple of different things. I'm seeing some missed opportunities by Necedah. You've got a great long pass completion, and then you've got some 4th and short and 4th and 5 that you've not been able to complete. In addition to that, you've got a turnover. What are you, as you head into the second quarter? You're the head coach. What are you telling your guys? What's your focus? What are you trying to do?
If I'm New Lisbon, I'm keeping my foot on the pedal, and I'm gonna keep pounding the ball, opening up the pass play. If I'm Necedah, they're doing everything right. They're doing everything right on offense, other than the 4th down. They're getting stuck on 4th down, not able to squeak by getting either a quick strike or just pounding the ball. So we'll kind of see what we have in store for this quarter. If it's going to be a little bit of the same, or if they're going to be able to, take advantage of all 4 downs.
You have your headset turned on?
Yeah, I mean, I think so.
The one that they're talking to you?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything. I don't know if I do or not.
Nope.
Of course not.
Sam Rogers on the carry. Gain of about 5 to the 36-yard line.
That's a great setup for 2nd down. 5-yard gain.
Definitely opens up the playbook a little bit.
On the tackle.
Now, if you're New Lisbon, you've had some early setbacks. Do you think that sometimes that can focus a team to have an early turnover, something early happen like that, causes you to kind of double down a little bit, prevent, future mistakes? I mean, is that something you think can be helpful?
I think it can. It's over, and you just keep playing. You don't let it get stuck in your head that, hey, I've had a turnover. They've just done a really good job since their fumble. I mean, they're just making hay. They're making hay the whole time with the running. So great first down pickup.
Now it looks like Lisbon's kind of running a combination of two different styles of plays. You've got some sweeps going to the outside, and then you've got some inside handoffs or inside keepers and counters. There's some good size on Necedah's defensive line, and there doesn't seem to be the same kind of size on New Lisbon's offensive line. So how do those things continue to contribute to success as we see another sweep to the outside?
Couple jukes, couple break tackles, staying in bounds, lowering that shoulder.
First down yardage.
Yeah, that was I think we're going to take another look at that one here by Zach Lowe here. Now, you get a senior running hard, good athlete. He's going to come around the edge, and notice the patience as he's following his blockers. That was a great block by his teammate, and then bam. He continues to go forward, and he's got another contact. I mean, that's just a great tough-nosed run right there.
And he's protecting the ball. He's protecting the ball, having it on the right side of his body, going down, and that stiff arm getting that defender back. Oh, another run up the middle. Breaking it outside.
A great tackle, great saving tackle there. Definitely saved him probably another 5 or 10 yards easy on that one.
7 on the play. We'll call it 2nd and 3 from the 37-yard line.
This is coming out in the second quarter on fire, just pounding that ball. And, this time of year, football season, high school football, rushing is key. It's usually key in these situations, Jared. Do you think you've opened it up enough to do either a play-action pass or get back and pass? Do you think you have the defense off, on their heels here?
Yeah, I think that's a possibility. It's hard to go away from something that's working so well. And, when they continue to bring different looks with inside and outside handoffs, sweeps, and some of these things, you've got, and I'm speaking from my experience as a defensive lineman, when you've got a team that's consistently running very well against you, the frustrating thing is when you don't seem to have an answer. And the worst thing that a team can do to you at that point, at least in my perspective, is continue to do it to you. So it's, when you have a sustained drive that's nothing but inside handoffs and sweeps, that's forcing your bigger defensive linemen to cover mentally the entire field and sometimes physically to stretch those runs out. That's a tough thing to, that's tough to stay down on.
Bring it right back. The offensive line seems to be getting a jump on the defense. I mean, they're reacting quicker as soon as they're, pushing Necedah on their heels.
Absolutely. Tempo, I think, is a big deal right now. Coach Beaver's really getting plays in there right away, and I think when you can call with confidence what you're going to be doing, that really, the kids understand that. They understand that you're confident in your play call, and the offensive lineman understands that they're confident in accomplishing their duties, their job, and that really, I think that means a world of difference when you know what to expect, you know what you're going to do, and you're able just to step up and do it. All right, now we see a drop back attempt to the pass on the sideline. Looks like he's connected with them.
Stumbling a little bit.
All right, is he able to make it?
I think he's just short.
Oh, he's just short. So we'll take a look and see what happened. Looks to me like that was a great pitch and catch. Let's see how he's able to do it.
You know, we have the benefit of seeing the replay here. It was close.
Yeah, that was a great catch. He really had to reach out for it. And I noticed, too, I was able to come back and make that defender miss. Great effort trying to get to the goal line there.
And John Murphy, way to stop the touchdown. And we'll see if the defense can come up here and make a big play.
All right, looks like they did exactly that on first down.
Peterson down for no gain.
I always love it, though. The offensive team, offensive lineman, regardless if it's anywhere near the goal line, someone raises their hand signaling the touchdown. You gotta love it.
I mean, you know, that's just tried and true. I think it actually does improve the chances of the call. I mean, personally.
Well, and maybe the YMCA was playing in the background. I couldn't quite tell with the man, but I do think you are right. Getting in the heads of officials a little bit of going, no, he's across. Quick snap, going in.
Peterson on the keeper.
Great job, great job.
Rockets take over 20-6 lead with 7:39 left in the second quarter.
You know, the one difference that I'm seeing a little bit between New Lisbon and Necedah as far as their quarterbacks has more to do with, I haven't seen Saylor take too many of those inside handoffs. He's done a great job of getting out left and right. But I think that really changes things, again, for the defensive line and for your linebackers. When you have to watch a quarterback who can pass the ball, as we just saw, to get him down to the, just shy of the goal line there, and then that same quarterback is taking a step back like he's going to drop back and pass, and then he's bringing it right up the gut.
We want to thank our sponsors for making it possible to bring you this New Lisbon Rockets football game. Lynx, reliable, trusted service for your internet, TV, and telephone. Dean's Refrigeration and Heating. Efficiency is our business. Comfort is your reward. Timberwood Bank. Reliable, friendly, dedicated. Baroque Winery. Not only one of Wisconsin's premier wineries, they also host gatherings up to 90 people. Image Production Studios. Life is short. Make it an amazing story.
Oh, looks like a little confusion going on here.
I did not see a penalty.
15-yard penalty indicated against the Rockets. Will make the extra point from the 17-yard line.
I didn't see what happened there. Now, they didn't call the play back, so that means it would have been after the ball was dead. So you'd guess a 15-yard to be some sort of personal, personal foul, whether that was a celebration or something along that line.
I didn't notice anything, but the officials are on top of their game, so.
Yeah, they've done a great job tonight. I think, and it's especially true at the high school level, but even at the pro level, you can call a penalty on almost any given play. That's a great effort right there.
2-point conversion, good.
Fantastic effort to keep that alive. I believe he's first contacted at almost the 10-yard line. So I mean, be able to keep his feet going and get that one all the way to the end zone for the 2-point conversion.
Jared, that's the perfect way to not let a penalty like that affect you.
Absolutely.
Realistically, that penalty meant really nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. And to give up a 2-point conversion, that can be tough. But to give up a 2-point conversion from the 15-yard line, that's tough. That's a tough one to come back from. There's definitely an emotional toll that can take on an athlete, I think, especially for a team that's trying to keep it together after 3 consecutive scores by New Lisbon on their homecoming night.
And I'm not the best at math. I went to public school with you, Jared, but I'm fairly sure we're a 2-score game, 2 touchdowns, 2-point conversions. But we'll kind of see what we're seeing here so far.
Yeah, and that can be a big difference when you go into halftime. So we've got 7 minutes and 39 seconds left here in the second quarter. It can be a big difference when you go into halftime and you're down by multiple scores, and you go into halftime and you're down by 1, because that means you're always 1 play away. And I think if I'm New Lisbon here, you got to make a strong hold. You got to get a stop on defense, and you got to put another one on there, because you go into halftime and you're up by 1 or even 2 touchdowns. That's a lot of game. But to go into halftime and to be up by 3 touchdowns, and on the other side to go into halftime and have the other team up by 3 touchdowns or 3 possessions, I mean that's a really big deal.
Well, and as we were able to see early on, I mean, Necedah struck quick, and they could find that again. I mean, there could be a touchdown within, mere few plays. So
absolutely.
Oh,
See the kick by number 10, Gunnar Peterson.
got a little lucky, got a little push of the roll.
Looks like there was, who was flying in there? That was number 60, Robert Robinson. You know, he's a number I've seen involved in quite a bit tonight. He really flew in there, and I think he wasn't too far away from recovering that one.
No, it was close.
First and 10 at their own 27-yard line.
Yeah, Robert Robinson, you know, he's a number I've seen a couple of different times. I think they have him listed as a lineman, but it looks like, he's taken a position that seems to be a little bit more of an up back or an up linebacker, something on the defensive side where he's playing up a little closer. So he is listed as a lineman, but he's been involved quite a bit tonight.
There's a pitch out, going around the corner.
Jaron Murphy takes the pitch.
It looks like Necedah's trying to catch him offside. Pitch to the short side of the field. You know, a play that's designed to get around the outside. You hope that hits quick. It's not something you run all the time to the short side of the field, but.
You know, I think right now, Necedah's just trying to kind of get their groove back, if you say, just getting some yards, maybe setting up that passing play again.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I'm also looking at the information here, and I've been referring to Coach Beaver from New Lisbon as we see a completion.
Pickup, good gain. Cutting up the
still
field.
going. Fantastic. Inside screen pass there. But I referred to Coach Murphy or Coach Beaver from New Lisbon, and I'm actually seeing that Jim Beaver is the head coach at Necedah. So for anybody listening out there to the confusion, I just found that out. So I apologize that we have two Coach Beavers going, although they are spelled differently, so I'm guessing they're not related. Although that might add a little bit of depth to the head-to-head rivalry were it the case. Quick pass from Saylor, number 11, Tyler Reichel.
Chris Saylor and Tyler Reichel.
You know, I wonder if we're going to see any more 5 wideout sets. I know they're having a back in the backfield with quarterback right now, so we'll kind of see what they decide to do. But there was a lot of success when they were spreading it out with 5 wides.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing as you said that, because the one thing I noticed too is that of the offensive and defensive line matchup that's been going, it looks like New Lisbon's defensive line has gotten the better of the offensive line of Necedah a little bit, and I wonder if that's not why they're bringing it back in to help block some of that and give Saylor a little bit more time.
There you go, pressure.
Tip pass, almost picked off.
Intended for Reichel incomplete.
And as we talked, I mean, the back there stopped a potential sack or a deflection right up there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's something that we're going to see a little bit more. That struggle to keep Saylor protected. It's tough to shut down a defense when the defensive line is getting constant pressure. And it doesn't matter what level of football you're talking about, but when your defensive line is controlling the game, as it seems to have been the case
that's why they
recently.
keep moving.
Saylor rolls to his right, makes a completion. I don't know if he's got enough distance though.
First down yardage.
And he does.
First and 10 at the Rocket 38-yard line.
All right, looks like it really wasn't that close at all.
Well, that's one way. That's one way to do it, is to try to fight against the surge of the defensive line, is to keep your quarterback moving, and I think he did that there. I think we're going to see that quite a bit going forward, because as you were saying, I mean, New Lisbon's getting to the quarterback, causing pressure.
Yep, absolutely. So Tyler Reichel came into the game tonight with 67 receptions and almost 800 yards receiving in 6 games. So, spread out over the course of 6 games, you're talking almost 10 receptions a game, and averaging close to 80 yards a contest. I mean, that's pretty big numbers. That seems like Saylor Reichel's a pretty solid connection right now.
7 at the 35-yard line.
Now, if I'm New Lisbon here, are you Are you drawing up some blitzes? Are you bringing some pressure outside of just your defensive line to try and stop this drive?
I don't know. They've been doing a great job at getting to the quarterback already. I know Necedah's driving, but you know that passing attack is so scary. You don't want to give up the big play.
Yeah, another opportunity there. Looks like a drop ball. Although you did have some early pressure from the defensive line of Lisbon yet again.
You know, and as you were talking going into half, I'm sure New Lisbon doesn't want to give up that big play. So I mean, I'm sure they're more willing to give up, you know, a 5-10-yard reception than, you know, a 30-yard touchdown strike.
Yep, absolutely. As a coach, when you take a look at some of the habits that we're seeing so far in the game, what sticks out to you as something that Necedah is doing really well, that they need to continue to do well to ensure success as the game goes on?
Where they're making the adjustments on, you know, protecting the quarterback, trying to protect the quarterback. Though New Lisbon is getting in there, they're doing their best to protect the quarterback, and these quick little out passes and slants that they've been doing, that, I mean, they're making it. They're taking the yards that New Lisbon is giving them. So, I mean, great coaching decision from Necedah there.
Yeah, it looks like they're doing a great job of handling that pressure. Some more movement there on the outside, bringing a receiver in. Sailor rolls to his right yet again and drops it back to the middle.
Nice pickup.
So you've got number 12 here for Necedah. There's that number 42. I'm sorry, that was number 42, Trenton Whipple, I believe. So I believe it's the first time we've seen him get a pass tonight. Good, coming out of the backfield. So you've got a little bit of change up there for a fullback type who's mostly doing some blocking to come out and relieve the pressure a little bit. If you're a linebacker from the Lisbon and you've got Reichel trying to keep the handcuffs on him, to have somebody sneak out of the backfield like that, you know, that's tough to cover.
This is just a huge drive for Necedah right now. Taking the time off the clock. They're gaining yards here. Breaking out. Jared Murphy. Great tackle.
Great tackle.
To Jared Murphy.
Yeah, I really thought
Peterson on the tackle, loss of yardage on the play.
Really thought Murphy was going to break that one out there. I think the coach from Necedah drew that one up pretty well. Looks like he caught the pressure coming in, dumped it off up the middle. It looks like they were about one tackle away from almost a touchdown there, it looked like.
You know, and we've seen Murphy dancing and juking people out of their shoes, you know, tonight and other nights. So, I mean, it wouldn't have been a surprise if he would have been able to juke and hit that corner and go.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I think the kids say hit the turbo button or the right R2 on your PlayStation 3
the super boost button on. See, I'm an Xbox guy, so maybe it's a different terminology. So we've got a great sustained drive here. It looks like we're going to take a timeout from Necedah, and they've got what looks to be just a really great drive going on.
This weekend, we'd like to thank Mrs. Morey, Mrs. Costello, the entire.
All right, we're going to take a break here for a second. Come to a close. We're going to go to commercial here. So from us to Links, here at Links 24, we'll see you back here in a little bit. Thank you.
We want to thank our sponsors for making it possible to bring you this New Lisbon Rockets football game. Silver Star Health, organic food, gym, coffee, flowers and gifts, taking care of your mind, body, and soul. Rudig Jensen, Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. Your next adventure awaits. Mile Bluff, New Lisbon Family Medical Center, healthcare evolving for life. Image Production Studios. Life is short. Make it an amazing story.
Freeze it. All right, looks like we're coming back here. Thanks for joining us again. We've got 2 minutes, 11 seconds left in the second quarter here. The first half drawn to a close. Eric, what are you seeing? What are you seeing from Necedah, showing them they've got life left, the gas in the tank, and what are they doing about it?
Well, I think this is huge. They're not. They didn't just lay down. New Lisbon punched them in the face, and they're fighting back right now. So it's great to see. Not to mention, they've controlled the ball after the last score, Necedah's really controlled the ball most of the second quarter, and we'll see what they can do. Hopefully they can pull out a score, make the game a little closer going into halftime.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe it was just under 8 minutes when this drive started, so this is, we're going on 5 minutes of this drive. Looks like another completion to Reichel from Saylor.
Pass complete.
How frustrating is it to see that same pattern get completed time and again if you're New Lisbon?
It's got to be frustrating, and I'm sure the coaching staff is telling their players, look out for it, but on each one, once the quarterback starts moving, as a defensive player, you have to worry about that too. So I mean, there's a lot of things going through these guys' heads, and it's just a matter of making the right decision on the play and just reacting.
Yeah, and sometimes you can do everything right and a guy just makes a great play.
Exactly.
So we're going to see seat number 7, Jaron Murphy in the backfield here behind Saylor.
Oh, on the ground.
Excuse me, bad snap. Jaron Murphy came back to help out. I don't know if he's going to be able to get back to the line. Doesn't quite make it.
Recovers the low snap.
That's a backbreaker right there. That's a killer on first down.
It really is. It really is. But Murphy was able to kind of, I don't want to say salvage because it was minus yards, but at least they were able to, kind of lessen the damage there.
Yeah, it's a good heads-up play by Saylor and Murphy to connect. Probably saves them almost 10 yards at least. So if you're Necedah, you're frustrated, but I think you can appreciate the connection that those two have. It's probably something you can build on. Obviously, they've been trying quite a bit. So we look at the 5-4 split out here. Oh, and we got a pick, a great play.
Great return.
Big play, a couple of big blocks.
Jaron Murphy's there. Oh, no, he isn't. He turned on the turbo boost right there.
Jaron Murphy had an opportunity there, and it looks like we had a second level.
A flag on the play, Jaron. Sorry for interrupting there.
Yeah, it looks like a block in the return. I did see somebody go flying, and it's hard to see in all the craziness, what goes on there. But it looks like the refs had the right read on it. So I think we're getting a chance to look at it on the instant replay here, and we'll see. I'm hearing from the New Lisbon crowd that some people may not agree with that call. All right.
I'm pretty sure more than some people. Still, heads-up interception, great run.
He made a great break on the ball.
Blindside block.
Yeah, so it looks like now the blindside block is a call that when you and I were in high school wasn't really something you heard much about. You had a block in the back, but you didn't have a blindside block. So what is a blindside block?
Well, it's tough. It's tough to really call that because it isn't tough, but it's for you and I, it wasn't there for us.
It didn't exist.
Which it is a great rule to have for safety of players. Blindside block, if you go and hit them, and of course the defender because of an interception, is not there to see the block happen. You run it. He was sandwiched right there on the ground.
Yeah, and obviously, it's easy to say I don't want people to get hurt, but in the real part of the game, you want to protect players. The problem I have with it is that in that situation, part of that call, it determines where the person who's being blocked, at this time the defender, it determines where he's looking. And if he's looking at the ball, which he was, and he's trying to make a play on the ball, is it the offensive player, on the receiving team? Is it his fault at that point in time that the other player's not looking, and then it's a penalty? So it's a tough call either way. All right, it's another great run to the outside. He's still going. It looks like he avoided staying in. Touchdown saving tackle right there.
Great run.
Great run. Great effort by number 88, Dylan Timer. Great play by him. Senior there, working hard. I think we're going to get a chance to take another look at that one, and we'll see that speed down the outside there. So as you can see it here, another example of blockers getting out and doing a great job, and then you just got speed. You've got one great break to the outside. I think sometimes they refer to those as broken ankles on the playground these days, and managed to get the most out of that run. So it looks like with 40 seconds left, we're going to have another fake and inside handoff.
Look at that.
Break up the inside. Is he going to get to the end zone?
Just short,
Connor
Jared.
Pearson down inside the 5-yard line.
All right.
Flag on the play.
Brought him up short. We'll see where the flag is, but at this point, brought him up short inside the 5, inside handoff, run by the quarterback, and New Lisbon is not going away.
Murphy.
I'm looking for the signal here from the officials. Like we said, there hasn't been many penalties tonight.
Right, I think this is actually only the 3rd, which isn't too bad for a high school night. Now, he's not mic'd like he might be in the NFL, so my lip reading not being great, I'm having a hard time getting a read on it. I think in either case, as long as it's not a
Horse
hold.
collar tackle.
There we go. Horse collar tackle.
The goal line.
No.
Take it down to about the 1-yard line.
Now, a horse collar tackle is essentially when you're bringing a player down by just the collar. So it's horse collar. And there's actually, there's been injuries on that tackle, on that style of tackle before. So that's one that's tough to see as a defender, but as a ball carrier, you like to be protected there. All right, it looks like he made it in there.
Second effort into the end zone.
Well, like you said, Jared, getting a 3rd score, making it a 3 TD game, huge.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Necedah did a wonderful job, sustained a drive with a couple of great passes, some runs, some good team efforts. They overcame what could have been a really rough turnover. Sailors able to pick up the ball, get it to Riker, and then you have that big interception, run back for a touchdown or almost a touchdown, brought back by the flag, and you give up another big play afterwards. Now you're going into the half down by more than 2 possessions, so you're down by 3 possessions. Unless they can pull something out in the last 20-some seconds, that's a tough pill to swallow.
Oh.
Hard to tell. Did he make
He's
it?
able to fight it in, it looks.
Looks like he did.
On the wing-back counter into the end zone for 2-point conversion.
Great job.
6 Rockets with 27 seconds left in the first
It'll be
half.
interesting to see if they try to kick it long or if they go for another split kick here.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm New Lisbon at this point, I'm not saying you want to play it safe, but I think you do want to play it smart. I think you want to give Necedah the least chance, the least of an opportunity to make a big return or something like that. So I got to say, you give it everything the kicker's leg has, and you just try and play good football.
You could really sense these New Lisbon fans are getting really fired up. Like we've been saying, it's homecoming. I see a bunch of fans running around with pizzas and trying to stay warm. We just seen a couple blankets carrying mittens. It's that time of year, but they are fired up. And it's so much easier to deal with this cold when you're winning.
Yeah, I think the trick to dealing with the cold is pretending like it doesn't exist and hoping your body doesn't remind you too quickly. And it seems like pizza, blankets, and excitement on homecoming night, that's how you do it. So we'll get a chance to see here what New Lisbon chooses to do. As I said before, I saw somebody. It may not have been the kicker, but I saw a couple attempted field goals in the beginning of the game, and it looks like they've got at least one kicker that's got a leg. So it'll be interesting to see what he does. All right, we've got another squib or attempted onside.
Dustin Sparby.
Ooh, we've got a late hit out of bounds, I think. He came in hard, and I think he came in after the runner stepped out of bounds.
Flag in the play.
That penalty could be huge because, as we've seen, Necedah can't strike from the air. And
Absolutely.
They've been hitting those outs. And if you're playing the sideline and getting a couple of those, you could get in field goal position fairly quick. But we'll see what the call is. Oh, bringing it back.
Late hit out of bounds, indicated against the Rockets.
You were right, Jared. Late hit.
Side.
Yeah, and the hard part about that one isn't just the fact that that a player can get hurt, which there's some protection that needs to take place, and the refs did a good job with that. But if you're New Lisbon at this point, you're kind of in the driver's seat, and you want to do the best you can to limit your controllable mistakes. That right there, that can really make a team angry. That can really bring a team together. A team that otherwise can feel defeated. You can rally around stuff like that, especially on a rival type opponent. So, I think if anything, that can help Necedah focus a little bit. So that's another thing that might factor in down the road.
You know, and you don't need the big strike here, but gain some yards, get out of bounds.
Sailor's going to roll out. He's going to keep it.
Keeping it smart, heads up play, getting that clock stopped.
Sailor runs out of bounds. Robert Robinson there.
Yeah, so you get yards, you stop the clock.
Brings up 2nd and 5.
And you're right there. I don't think you have to, I don't think you have to throw 3 to the end zone or something like that. I think what Necedah needs to do is they need to continue doing what they do well, but they also need to control some of the mistakes, control some of the turnovers, and not let this thing get away.
You can see the breath. It's football weather. Look at that.
See the breath. Sometimes the ground gets a little slick. These are all concerns. All right, we got
trying to get some more yardage. Maybe setting up something here.
Yeah, you're getting the ball into the hands of your ball carrier here, trusting in him to get out of bounds. Looks like we've got more dirty laundry on the field, though.
Yeah. You know, in 11.5 seconds, depending what this penalty is. Offsetting penalties. You know, that's a big break there because a hold could have really put a damper on this drive. I mean, the time is already putting a damper on it.
Yeah, and you know, the other thing that can happen in any sporting event, but can happen in high school especially, is you get a team and they think that they're in the lead, and they are in the lead, but they think they're in control and they kind of start to cruise. You make mistakes mentally, and you allow the other team to get back in the game. If you're New Lisbon, you can't let that happen. You absolutely don't want to let that happen. And if Necedah can continue to keep going and New Lisbon continues to make these mistakes, you do kind of, you kind of worry about letting them back in when you might have had them down otherwise. All right, looks like a little trickeration here.
Option there, nice pass.
Did he catch that?
Looked like he
Holy cow! You had a huge throw from Jaron Murphy. I mean, he put that thing, he just let it rip, and you got to catch in the end zone.
8-second strike. That is what we were talking about. They wanted to get as close as they could.
Now let's take a look at the replay. Jaron Murphy, he just lets this thing go, just chucks it, a prayer up at the end, Rodgers-esque, and you're able to come down. Now, did you see who caught that one?
I did not.
I was a little excited, I confess, and I missed who caught it.
Well,
but
you know, looking at it, that defender was in good position.
Yeah.
The receiver went and got the ball.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, and I think this just is the exclamation point on the end of the statement we were trying to make earlier. You have to limit the mistakes. New Lisbon, unfortunately, made 2 penalties that, if they hadn't made those, never would have allowed Necedah to be in that position.
I think he's got,
Sailors attempted 2-point conversion, incomplete, intended for Tyler Reichel.
Looks like Sailor and Reichel couldn't connect on that one, which is, to be honest, it's been a little bit of a rarity. It seems to be calling them out so much. All right, Bones, we've got 3.4 seconds left here. We've got a great matchup. Necedah shows they're not dying, they're not giving up, and they're hanging around. What are you looking to see in the third quarter? We're going to see. We'll have enough time for one more, maybe 2 plays here. What are we hoping to see in the third quarter from them?
You know, in the third quarter, I think it's stopping the run. Stopping the run's huge. They've been giving up long runs all night. You know, and I know it's getting tougher and tougher because anytime that, as a defense, the ball's being ran down your throat, it's a struggle. It's a struggle to keep fighting.
Yeah, okay. So now, if you're New Lisbon, what are you looking to accomplish here to come out and make a statement in the third quarter?
If I'm New Lisbon, I'm continuing to pound the ball, open up the passing game through your run. So I guess we'll see if Necedah is able to stop the run.
Sounds good. All right, well, let's take a look. Let's watch this half wind down here. We'll see what Necedah pushes out. We'll see what they do with it. And if we have a chance, we'll come back during halftime and we can take another look at what's been going on. We've got a great homecoming for New Lisbon here. Great matchup. 2 teams that won't give up, won't quit. It seems like they both had opportunities with an early turnover from New Lisbon that they refused to let, hold them back. So I'm just, I'm excited to be a part of football. I think this is the Friday night. It's not Texas football, but it's the Friday night under the lights that you hope to have if you're a fan here at New Lisbon. And I think anybody can enjoy it.
Kicking it deep, heads up play. That ball looks a little slick. A little slick.
Looks like Lisbon's going to try a little trickeration themselves.
Uh-oh.
A little bit of a pitch as time expires, so this is going to be the last play of the half here.
He's cutting it back in the middle.
Is he going to be able to make it? Wow. You know, that was fun. That was a great attempt, though.
You know, and you can hear it in the fans. Fans are very excited about that play. Looks like they're all standing up on the bleachers, very excited.
You know, the other part of that is if you're Necedah here, I don't think you like seeing that kind of thing. You know, I think you kind of anticipate that New Lisbon's going to come out, try and get a good return, and try and play, you know, smart football, and they're kind of flaunting the fact that they're up in that, you know, a little flippant with tossing the ball on the return. So it'll be interesting to see how that affects Necedah and what comes up.
Well, and that could have easily became a turnover.
All right, well, let's go ahead and take a look and see if we can't see that again. I'm actually kind of surprised they were able to execute that. Like you said, the ball looked a little wet, so we'll see if we can't get a better look at it here. Okay, sorry, I guess we're not able to get that one. But like you said, Bones, the ball was a little wet, so when I saw that pitch come out, I did not know if it was going to end real well.
Well, he struggled at first picking up the ball, so when we saw that struggle, when he went to pitch it back, you weren't sure where it was going, but, you know, I'm sure they practiced this, and they were able to, you know, execute it.
You got 60 days to make it great. Santa Claus.
We want to thank our sponsors for making it possible to bring you this New Lisbon Rockets football game. Lynx, reliable, trusted service for your internet, TV, and telephone. Dean's Refrigeration and Heating. Efficiency is our business. Comfort is your reward. Timberwood Bank. Reliable, friendly, dedicated. Baroque Winery. Not only one of Wisconsin's premier wineries, they also host gatherings up to 90 people. Image Production Studios. Life is short. Make it an amazing story.
Appreciate it. We get a chance to take a look at New Lisbon's band here. We heard them warming up earlier. They had a couple renditions. I think we heard some Blink 182. We heard some of the traditional, some of the standards. What is it you're hoping to see from the halftime show here, Bones? From the homecoming, from the Lisbon Rockets, what do you got?
I'm just excited to, you know, take in these kids have practiced really hard in band, and you could tell through the songs.
You know, as I'm watching this, you know, I think back to when I was in high school, you know, and you think about all of the different things that go into a homecoming night like this, and when you have a school in which so many of the kids are connected in different ways, it's always neat for me to see the different pieces move and that kind of thing. So, I mean, it just goes to show that there's a lot of people that contribute to a thing like a football game on a Friday night. It's kind of neat to see kind of a whole community come together for that.
I'm gonna show him my butt crack.
Here.
Oh. There's well.
Are you still getting static?
Ladies and gentlemen, let's please welcome the Lisbon Marching Band to the field. Tonight the band will perform for you music of the spy movies. Next up is a piece written in an abnormal meter of 5 beats per measure, possibly because the composer wanted to match the Morse code rhythms of the letters M and I for Mission Impossible, Impossible theme.
All right, so we get a chance to listen in here. Interesting note that I heard over the PA system there that the composer of this piece has it in a you've got 5 beats per measure, which is kind of, pretty abnormal, unique. That might also coincide with the Morse code for MI, or Mission Impossible. That's kind of a neat little tidbit.
Yeah, well, it's a little spy night. I'm hoping here from my favorite spy, Mr. 007.
You might be interested to know, my wife and I recently went to Milwaukee and tried an Escape the Room. I don't know if you've ever tried one of those before. And it was a James Bond theme, and it was their hardest one for the record. It was a 15% success rate. And we actually, with some strangers, complete strangers, we really dug deep and found it within ourselves to escape that room. And so tonight, this means, I think, a little bit extra, knowing that the spy theme is there.
Well, and listening to this, of course, Tom Cruise broke his ankle in the last Mission Impossible. But listening to this, I mean, we might as well have them play the theme for the movie, if you ask me.
Personally, it feels like I'm on the set. No, but it does. You do kind of wonder. You look at all the preparation that these kids put into. It's easy to see football. You got practice and all these things. But I remember, friends of mine that were in the band. They're, even if they're not with the band practicing maybe as often, they have to practice as individuals as well to make sure that they're prepared for when they do come together as a group. So I think it's neat to see them all work together. Be able to kind of bring a product to the field at the end of it.
We'll conclude with the James Bond theme, but first we'll start with the 1981 theme tune from the 12th James Bond movie, For Your Eyes Only.
All right, so we get a chance to hear For Your Eyes Only. The real question remains, are they talking about you or are they talking about me?
I'm going to just keep my eyes closed and let the music take me somewhere.
Let the music play, I like that. So obviously it was for my eyes then.
Clearly.
Actually, I kind of keep bringing up my wife, but we actually just finished all of the James Bonds all the way through.
Well, would you know by chance, is this a Roger Moore Bond film that the score is coming from?
Very adept, yes. I believe it is. For Your Eyes Only, I believe is Roger Moore. And when you look at all of the James Bonds and the longevity, I think it's interesting that, to my knowledge, well, obviously there's many installments. I think it's almost 20 some now at this point. I'm not sure exactly what. But when you've got a recurring actor or a recurring role like that, 2 different Bonds made appearances in non-sequential order. So you had Sean Connery actually came back before Roger Moore. So when Sean Connery left, Roger Moore stepped in, and it might actually have been the one that nobody talks about.
Well, Richard Lazenby, an Australian actor, took over, of course, for Bond, but then, Sean Connery, iconic role, came up.
Yeah. And I personally, I'm in the camp that chooses not to acknowledge that as Bond, as true canon. I don't feel that it is, no disrespect to him, obviously. But so Sean Connery, took a break, and then Roger Moore comes in. Now Sean Connery then come back, and then Roger Moore comes back, and so it's kind of cool to me that you've got kind of the ongoing relationship with that kind of thing. So your opinion on, if you had to rank Bonds, where do you go? I mean, aside from Sean Connery, who's obviously number 1. I mean, that goes without saying. So who's number 2 then?
I really like Daniel Craig. I really like those films. A little more grittier of the Bond. But,
the first to show. I mean, essentially, it's a prequel series. Kind of going back to his roots, his becoming a 00 agent.
That was a great performance there.
Finishes with the New Lisbon School Song.
Looks like they've got one more, the New Lisbon School Song. Not one I'm as familiar with as the Bond score or the Mission Impossible theme.
It's actually on my phone. I listened to it on the drive up.
Somehow I don't doubt that, Bones. Unless you're just pulling my leg. I don't think you'd do that to me, though.
No, I've never joked around with you once.
Now, it is kind of interesting that the crowd's actually kind of responding a little bit. I'm not, when I was when we were in Toma, I'm not sure that anybody knew our school song or the fight song unless it was written on the wall, and even then I think people struggled to read it. But again, it was a public school system. Yeah, maybe you have that more, I don't know.
Of course I was joking, Toma's wonderful, but I will say, I believe our trick for graduation was mumbling bubblegum, bubblegum, bubblegum. But
yes.
maybe that was some of the lesser students.
Well,
But that was a great band performance.
Yeah, they did a good job. And I'll be the first one to say that when I went to college and was at my first college game, playing football, and there was no band, it was definitely it felt like there was something missing from the experience. Absolutely. So I mean, I'm personally one that is very appreciative of the band and the part that they play, because it was a noticed absence. When it went to college and we ran out or walked out as a team to absolutely nothing. It was, you felt like you were missing out, really.
Freshmen pretty excited for winning Testament in Spirit Week. It sounds.
Yeah, I mean,
I tell you, it's getting a little chilly. I may have to borrow one of those hats and feathers from the band just to kind of keep the heat in here.
I think that's a good idea. Personally, if there's a way that I could actually just get the whole entire hat, I think I'd wear that, and I don't think I'd hesitate.
Well, I think it'd look really well. I think feathers always go with beards. It's clear.
If I did have a hat like that, do you think that it would take away from my ability to focus on the football game, or I should say somebody's ability to watch, the feather dancing?
Well, it'd really affect me, I think. It would be very distracting. It'd be like a feather duster up here, just moving around.
Sure.
So
now, I wonder if that's a safety thing that we might be able to bring in, feathers on the helmets, maybe as a way of, cushioning the blow. I'm curious as to why that's not ever been, tried before.
I'm not curious on that one at all. If you've had brothers, and you could still take a pretty good hit with a pillow. So.
Well, all right. Well, we're gonna go ahead and take a commercial here at Links 34. Thanks for your time. We look forward to seeing you back here again in Lisbon football.
We want to thank our sponsors for making it possible to bring you this new Lisbon Rockets football game. Silver Star Health, organic food, gym, coffee, flowers and gifts, taking care of your mind, body, and soul. Rudig Jensen, Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. Your next adventure awaits. Mile Bluff, New Lisbon Family Medical Center. Healthcare evolving for life. Image Production Studios. Life is short. Make it an amazing story.
All right. Well, thanks for coming back. We've got the New Lisbon Rockets for their homecoming hosting the Necedah Cardinals. Right now we've got New Lisbon enjoying a 30-12 lead. But Necedah did squeak a last minute, but you're talking 3.4 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah.
They took one home. Bones, what's your thoughts heading into the third quarter? Where are you at?
I mean, if New Lisbon just keeps pounding the ball, I think it's going to be hard for Necedah to fight back. I know they've been fighting back all night, and they'll continue to do so as they've done all game. But, I mean, that lead, it's going to be difficult to come back. They're going to need quick strikes.
Yeah, absolutely. If I'm Necedah, I want to get a little bit closer. I think you kind of get tired of continually having to overcome a mistake and have to fight back. It looks like they're kind of capitalizing on the mistakes that New Lisbon has made. But there comes a point in time where I think you kind of want to start driving the truck yourself. Like, you want to be the one kind of setting the tone. And if I'm Coach Beaver, that would be the Coach Beaver from New Lisbon, obviously. But if I'm Coach Beaver, I'm talking to my guys, and I got to figure I'm going to get Necedah's best shot when they come out. If I'm coaching a team, whether it's middle school basketball or whatever the case is, I always try and set that expectation. You say, you're going to get the best that the opponent's team has to offer the moment they step out, because that's the coaches had a time to talk to them, to fire them up, to get them focused. And if you're New Lisbon right now, I got to figure you got to expect to get, as you had put it so eloquently before, you're going to look for that gut punch coming and trying to avoid that.
I mean, you really are. I mean, it's just a matter of, does Necedah have what it takes to kind of, put New Lisbon on their heels? I mean, I think we are going to see it, especially the first drive that they have possession. I mean, it's been a tight game back and forth. I mean, the score doesn't show really how close it's been.
Well, I would agree. But like you said before too, that can all change in a very short amount of time. So, for my part, I'm pretty happy we've been able to be a part of it at this point. Been happy for the fan participation as well.
I know, it's been pretty exciting. I'm just waiting for one of them to deliver me a slice of
Yeah, little pizza would be okay right now. Although, to be honest with you, My hands are cold enough. I'm not sure I'd be able to hold it real well.
Now, you know, we'll see where kicking is going here. I mean, yeah, you're down, but I gotta believe that you're gonna try to kick it long and make me see it, you know, push the ball in.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at teams that have had their starting field position, you know, very few times have they had it, you know, farther than 60 yards out. So I mean, I think the team that wins that field position battle is the team that could probably come away with a victory here, simply because neither team has really been forced to sustain 80-yard drives, and the one that has, as we see the kickoff from Necedah, another short kick. All right, you know what? As we say that, Necedah converts the first onside kick, bounces off a New Lisbon player's chest. You know he's upset by that one, but Necedah strikes first.
Recover the onside kick, take over, 1st and 10.
I mean, that's why you play the game. You see something different every night you come and watch the game. But now this is where the tides can turn a little bit. They should have the momentum from their last score. Let's see what they can do.
Yeah, and unanswered points were kind of what did Necedah in the first half. New Lisbon ripped off just a string of unanswered touchdowns, and Necedah did manage to fight one back. You know, if they can rip off 2 or 3 in a row, you know, you don't just have a game. You've definitely got a fight on your hands. It looks like Necedah's keeping one. Oh, muffled bum snap. Looks like Saylor's going to take it and try and get the yards he can.
You know, I'm always surprised on that you just don't just dive on it because of the possibility of it, you know, turning into a touchdown for the defense there. But he did a good job at getting a few more yards back, but he wasn't able to get back to the original line of scrimmage.
Yeah, now that's the second missed connection there on a shotgun snap from Necedah. So as the night gets colder and the condensation and the moisture stays on the ball and stays on the ground, you wonder how that's going to affect their ability to do the things that they want to do. Pitch out to the right, looks like a pitch with a run option. All right, now what we have here, I think we've got an intentional grounding.
You know, I don't know though, because number 11 was right there. I mean, the ball got past the line of scrimmage and he was within 5 or 10 yards.
Yeah, it looks like we'll see if they wave it off. Yeah, and they do. Good call, Eric. Yes. That's a pretty heads-up play there, unless he wasn't aware that the receiver was there, in which case you kind of have to wonder.
Yeah, I don't know, because, I mean, he got pulled down pretty quick. I don't know, you know, I bet you he knew from the play that the player should be there, but I don't know if he saw him there.
Yeah, and you got to give credit where credit is due. Great heads-up play by New Lisbon. You know, you've always got your one defensive back that's in charge of force. You know, they need to force the ball back in. He did a great job of staying on the quarter, well, in that case, the running back on Jaron there. But
more pressure. Oh,
great
almost an interception.
Great play to pass there.
Murphy's pass.
Now it looks like seeing Jaron Murphy take that snap as a direct snap. So if that's something we're going to see going forward, I don't know. But it looks like they've made a bit of a change, at least just for right now. As Saylor trots over the sideline, it looks like Jaron Murphy's going to stay in as quarterback right now.
You know, do you set up like you're going to try to convert the first down, or do you set up but then you punt the ball just for position's sake?
Sure.
I mean, what do you think we're going to see here, Jared?
Yeah, it's hard to say. If I'm a coach, you know, and I'm not, but if I were a coach here, it'd be tough to concede this fourth down. I got to figure and they're going to go for it. They're going to drop back. Oh. And he may just try and get the yards that he can. And he's got a chance to get that first down too.
There.
All right, now we've got a flag on the play. It looks like that could be on the offense.
The first down yardage. There is a flag on the play.
You know, that's what's hard, because they've been so successful passing the ball. It opens up that quarterback run.
Yep, absolutely.
There will be a mark off here from the spot of the penalty.
You know, unfortunately, in the last 5 or 6 minutes of the first half, and now all of a sudden here, it looks like penalties have kind of become, you know, the biggest impact on the game so far. And we're going to take a look here and see what the refs saw when they made that call. We're going to start. Jaron Murphy, he's going to roll to his right. At this point in time, I'm thinking he's going to run it. And he does, and we'll see who comes in on that block. So it looks like right there, that was actually Miles Taylor there. So I'm not, that was kind of a hard one to look at there. I personally didn't see much as to how that would be called a block in the back. But again, these refs have been doing a pretty good job all night, so it's hard to say.
Well, and on that, I mean, you weren't sure if he was going to run because he had a receiver break open just at that last second, and I think that put a little hesitation on the defense, not knowing that that's that run-throw threat that's been happening all night.
Yeah, and it looks like Necedah's going to stay with it here, no punting. All right, and it looks like we've got another flag.
Here?
Yeah, another false start.
I think you said it just a little bit ago, Jared. The turnovers are really, they're starting to add up, and I have to think that's a little bit of fatigue and being behind.
Yeah, absolutely. On a night like tonight, the cold does different things than the heat does, and some players handle it different ways. And unfortunately, it looks like Necedah, whether it's a mental lapse or whatever. Although to be fair, it's not that Necedah's the only one who's been making mistakes either.
Oh, exactly.
So the thing I guess that the thing that I appreciate about the game of football, specifically at the high school level, is that every one of these kids is selling out. They're giving everything they got, and even when mistakes are made, they're still giving everything they got. And I just, it's so much fun as a fan to be able to watch it. Big pressure and a big hit by number 20 for New Lisbon. Oh, is that another interception?
Murphy's pass,
Sept out of bounds.
Tyler Reichel, intercepted.
That was a great play. Great play there. I think we've got a replay of it here.
Gunnar Peterson on the interception. Rockets
take another look at it and see who it was that actually picked it off.
Peterson with the interception here.
Sure. Well, he did a great job at going up and getting after that ball. Another thing I want to point out too again is that attitude is you saw on our side of the field here, you saw number 20 Sam Rogers coming in and trying to pressure and really stung an offensive lineman there, some hard-nosed football, and that's the kind of thing that sends a message saying, hey, we're not going to let this happen, and you got to respect New Lisbon coming out, firing, and making plays happen. Get another inside handoff here, looks for almost a first down.
With the score the way it is and all the success they have, I really think we're going to see a lot more runs from New Lisbon.
Yeah, there doesn't seem to be a need to pass at this point. Obviously, it's something you have in your back pocket. You can do it if you need to. But, at this point, they've controlled the game really well with the run. Sam Rogers has been doing a wonderful job holding it down and running back. You've got, you've got runs by Gunnar Peterson as well, inside and out. I mean, they've really done a great job. But in my mind, when you've got a team that runs that dominantly, you have to respect the offensive line and the effort they're given. And those guys are just working. Little play action pass here.
Looking, dancing back there, gaining some yards.
Great move. I don't know if he's got enough for the first, though.
Peterson forward for what appears to be first down yardage.
And it looks like the ref's signaling first down. Great job.
I think he's getting ready for homecoming with all those dance moves out there.
Yes, he's probably a little cold from being out here, and he just needs to get his hips moving, get the blood flowing, ready for the dance floor. All right, New Lisbon approaches the line here. Now, I noticed, too, that New Lisbon gets down in their line gets down in a traditional line set, and Necedah's had some linemen that actually stand up. And I wonder if that's allowed New Lisbon to be a little bit more aggressive and kind of playing downhill.
I thought he had the first down there, but officials are on top of it. But, I mean, second and short here. I mean, do you think there's going to be another just pound the ball right up the middle or a little counter maybe?
Unless I'm mistaken, I don't think we've seen a punt tonight. I don't think a punt's in the cards, unless, and maybe even not with your heels on your own goal line. I think you're going to see 2 runs here.
Oh, he's got it.
There you go. He didn't even
big gain. Oh, breaking 2 tackles really there.
Well right now.
Hit on the outside. Jared Murphy
came to take a swipe at the ball, but Peterson used that to be able to break into the end zone. That was a great run.
From big play.
Let's take another look at this one if we can. I think, like I said, one of the things that to me sticks out is, Jared Murphy's trying to make a play, reaches out to reaches out to swipe the ball. Looks like we did miss the replay, but reaches out to swipe the ball, and I think Peterson just used that to continue running hard. You know, and so I respect the effort by Jaron Murphy there too, but you got to respect Peterson just running the hard nose all the way through. So they line up. See if they fire out on this one as well. And drop back with a pass. Looks like Peterson doesn't want to throw it a whole lot.
The corner there, looking back in the end zone.
And complete. 2-point conversion converted.
You know, when you have a mobile quarterback like that, that keeps the play going.
Gunnar Peterson to Sam Rogers.
Absolutely.
Score goes to 38-12.
You know, as a defender, I mean, you know, that internal clock that's going in your head, after a certain point, you're wondering what's going on, where is the quarterback?
Absolutely.
And right there was just a perfect example of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I go back to the defensive line play, and there's been times where both defensive lines have been dominant, but so far, New Lisbon's defensive line has managed to get pressure on the quarterback, and that's really the one thing that Necedah hasn't really done yet. So, you know, like you said, dancing around, keeping the play alive, allowing there to be a little bit more time for his receivers to get open when they do pass. So far, Necedah's failed to get really any sort of pressure at all, and I think that tells over the course of a game, you know, the way that it has now. So we've got 7:52 left in the game. Score right now 38-12. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. Yes, thank you. In the third quarter, 38-12, and. You know, I'm looking at this, I'm seeing a New Lisbon team that's fired up right now. I'm seeing some excitement, and we're going to need to see the same thing from Necedah. I know these kids care a great deal about what they're doing. What are some of the things that they can do to increase their excitement and maybe increase how effective they're being?
Well, Jared, I think the biggest thing is turnovers. Right now, they have to protect the ball, but, I mean, time is a factor, and they have to try to score quick. So they're just... I don't know if there's enough time, but the number one thing is to protect that ball. Protect that ball.
Yeah, as the night goes on, it gets a little bit more slick. You know, I think this is another time too where maybe it's time for us to see some things we haven't seen before. We've seen some things. We've seen a couple of the trickeration or the trickery. You know, those kind of words that people throw out that really I don't think are actually words. But we've seen some of that kind of thing. We've had one that worked out well and one that didn't work out as well. I think we need to see maybe just a different look.
Another short kick. I don't think from this angle that went 10 yards.
Yeah, I don't think it did. You know, that's another good effort by Robert Robinson there. I think it was just shy of that 10-yard mark, though. So that's going to be Necedah ball on a short field.
You know, and maybe that's, you know, one of the breaks Necedah is looking for. I mean, they're starting close to the 50. I mean, they can get a quick score. I mean, it kind of changes the, you know, they're definitely still in the New Lisbon is still in the driver's seat.
Yeah, absolutely.
But still, Necedah could get a quick score and maybe put a little more pressure on New Lisbon.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think staying engaged as a team, staying focused as a team is really the most important thing. You know, at this level of football that we're seeing, which, you know, we've seen, you know, stretches where Necedah's really controlled the ball, you know, for the length of the field. And we've seen New Lisbon do a similar thing. We've seen Necedah, here we go, pitch outside. Looks like Jaron Murphy's got an option to pass. He's going to throw downfield. It looks like that ball went through the receiver's hands. So, I mean, as we see the game go on, each team has been able to do good things, and the question is who can do them the longest. And I think, you know, I think back to games that I played in high school, and you know, there's been games where you see a team that was down by 3 scores for an entire game, but because they stayed with it, they have a chance at the end of it. And I think that's what Necedah is going to have to do, kind of chip away at the lead. You know, continue to try and find new ways to be successful so that they're within striking distance, you know, when the game starts ticking down a little bit.
You know, and that defensive line in New Lisbon, you know, they're still creating pressure, and I think that's why you're seeing a lot of the pitch outs and trying to see the halfback, you know, make a successful, you know, completion down the field.
All right, another linebacker there. Another blitz from a linebacker there.
Sailor's pass complete to Murphy.
Now we see Sailor back under center. Is this something that you think gives them an advantage to bring him back rather than trying to change up and give a different look with Jaron Murphy?
You know, I think Saylor has proven that he's definitely capable of, getting this team in striking range. So, but both guys throw the ball well, so it's really hard to say. I think you kind of go with who's hot at the moment and just kind of see what happens with this drive.
Well, they're both, like you said, they're both capable athletes.
Rockets coming in on a blitz. He avoids it. Oh.
Ooh, just missed on that
Saylor's
one.
pass intended for Jerry Murphy and complete, bring up 4th down.
If he would have hit that, that would have been a possibility of a first down there.
Sam Rogers for New Lisbon has come in, I like to call it downhill. He's come in on a mission, really cruising there. It looks like he came in real hard. Necedah players slow to get up, and I noticed that he was right there giving them a hand up. I like that kind of respect. The respect you show for your opponent. Yeah, you're trying to beat him. You're trying to do better than he is, but the mutual respect, it's vital to the game. And you like to see that from both players. So it looks like we've got four split out with one running back kept in for Necedah.
Outside. Oh.
All right, pitch and catch, a completion to Tyler Reichel again.
I think that was for I can't tell. Was that a first down?
Looks like they're moving the chains.
Cardinals gain first down yardage to the 34.
And that's another thing they're going to have to keep doing, I think, that they did do well. Not necessarily different, but something they had done well. And you see the replay here. Saylor drops back, a nice 3-step drop, and hits an inside post. For Reichel, that's something that New Lisbon really hasn't had an answer for to this point in time.
And it's a little bit different because they've been working outside most of the game, and now they're
screenplay here.
Oh,
nice hands by Jared Murphy.
Way to get your hands on that.
Pass complete. Saylor to Murphy.
From where we're sitting, that definitely looked like it was going to be an incompletion, or even worse when that ball gets batted up there. But Murphy did a great job reining that in.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And to be honest with you, I've seen that, we've seen that a couple of times tonight on each side where you've seen a play. It looked like it was either a blown play,
28-yard line,
something that wasn't going to go very well. And yet the players have been able to kind of maintain focus. To me, it's always impressive. It's always neat to see a player maintain focus and make a good thing out of what could have been a bad thing. So we've got second down here. Looks like we got about 4 yards to go. And Necedah's going to stick with the 4 receivers and keep one, although we've got trips to the left here this time. Out of the shotgun, another screen pass.
It's open.
Yeah, it's really on New Lisbon to stop it at this point.
There still is time, so they can continue to use the middle of the field, unlike right before the half where they're really focusing on the sidelines. They've been attacking the middle of the field.
The other thing I noticed too is that, Necedah's been doing a great job of really stepping up the pace of play. When you get a first down in high school, the clock stops for them to reset reset on the sideline and stuff like that. And some coaches see that as an opportunity to continue the pace of play. Don't give the defense a rest. It looks Necedah's kind of doing that a little bit.
Run around the corner.
No, this is something we haven't seen yet.
Big game.
Was that a direct snap or was that a handoff?
It's a handoff there. A little bit of a sweep.
I don't know if you've seen that sweep yet.
Coming around the corner. No, we haven't. And kind of what goes back to what you said. Let's see something different. Let's see what can work. And I think right there's an example
of it. 5-yard line for the Cardinals.
Well, and he's a good athlete. So obviously you want to try and get him the ball any way that you can. Reminds me of some of these guys like Randall Cobb, for the Packers, has kind of had that personality where in the past where you kind of want to just get the ball in his hands. You want to see what he can do with it. And so far when Reichel's had the ball in his hands, he does pretty good. He does very well.
Playmakers make plays, and right there was one of them.
I believe Dickie V would refer to him as a PT peer, isn't that right?
I believe you're right.
Primetime player, so. All right, it looks like Saylor gets in.
5 yards out.
So, hey, that's a great sustained drive.
5:42 left in the third quarter. Score goes Rockets 38, Cardinals 18.
We'll see another 2-point conversion coming up here
You know, you're exactly right. They're the pace. You know, they may be dumping it off in the middle, but they're moving to the line and they're trying to get scores as quick as possible. You know, they know what's on the line. It's homecoming, and as we've said a couple times, they know what's on the line, and they don't want to leave here with a loss.
Do you think we've said that maybe too many times that it was homecoming night?
Probably a little bit.
Maybe.
But at homecoming night, that's what you can expect.
maybe we just.
Another snap.
Another
picked
botch
up,
snap.
though.
Can you get the ball off?
Uh-oh.
Not going to matter. Not going to matter. All right, we still have a player down here. Hopefully he can get up. Yeah, it looks like he got kind of tattooed there on the release.
No good. Score remains 38-18 Rockets with 5:42 left in the third.
Yes, I do think maybe, as this is the first homecoming football game I've been to in quite some time, maybe I'm having a hard time getting past that, you know, the fond memories, you know.
C-Squad volleyball in Brookwood, junior high football at home. Tuesday, high school volleyball at Hillsborough. Cross country.
So you've got a great drive by Necedah. You sustain it all the way through.
Thursday, high school.
So when we come back from our break, we're going to get a chance to see what New Lisbon can do and answer.
At Royal for their homecoming.
We want to thank our sponsors for making it possible to bring you this New Lisbon Rockets football game. Lynx, reliable, trusted service for your internet, TV, and telephone. Dean's Refrigeration and Heating. Efficiency is our business. Comfort is your reward. Timberwood Bank. Reliable, friendly, dedicated. Baroque Winery. Not only one of Wisconsin's premier wineries, they also host gatherings up to 90 people. Image Production Studios. Life is short. Make it an amazing story.
All right, thanks for coming back, fans. New Lisbon Rockets hosting the Necedah Cardinals for what I will mention yet again as their homecoming. And
well, the excitement's in the air, Jared. I mean, you heard them talking about Spirit Week at halftime and the excitement of each class screaming right behind us. I mean, it made me forget about, you know, being a little chilled, to be perfectly honest.
Yes, I would agree.
Here comes the kickoff.
All right, we've got
another inside. Oh,
touched by New Lisbon, but they managed to retain possession.
Timer on the kickoff.
Nice job there by Noah Waltemath.
Covered by Gunnar Peterson. Rockets
by Peterson, that was a heads-up play.
Sorry.
Cradling that ball. Heads-up play.
49-yard line of the Cardinals.
And, you know, Gunner's been handling the ball quite a bit tonight. Obviously, he's been the helmsman, the quarterback here, looking and has done a great job of kind of spreading the ball around, inside runs, and that's got to be what we see more of. The question now is, what is Necedah going to do different to stop what they haven't yet had an answer for?
Yeah, I mean, realistically, after that early turnover, you know, I think there's been 2 turnovers, but after that early turnover, I mean, New Lisbon has really been able to turn up the intensity. Looks like a blitz coming. No, maybe some guys moving up front. The blitz gave them a little pressure there. A little squeamish is one jump. So.
Sure. Well, I think that's something I don't know that they've seen yet. It looks like they were bringing about 7 men there inside the box, and I think that can be intimidating when you see it for the first time. You know, it's definitely you know, you feel the footsteps at that point.
You know, I have to say, I'm so happy the cameramen here are doing a phenomenal job. You know, it's cold. They're standing for the most part, you know, staying stationary. I just want to thank them for all their hard work tonight. Yeah, and a big thank you to Image Pictures being able to bring us here tonight. Gotten a chance to see some good football. Some Cardinals running. Switches the ball to safety on the other side, and that speed is something else. That is tough speed to answer right there.
Zach Lowe into the end zone.
Zach Lowe has had a couple of runs like that where he really gets to the outside and just turns on the afterburners.
Well, before he turned on the afterburners, he lowered the shoulder and trucks victim. I mean, that was a statement run.
Yeah, that's the kind of run that as a kid growing up and seeing, we get another chance to see it there, see that speed. That's the kind of run. And honestly, that's the kind of run you dream about. You get a chance to lower the boom on somebody and then turn on the afterburners. And I'm using all sorts of colloquialisms here, but the reality is that was just a dominant run. We may see the first field goal of the night. Extra point, excuse me. Now looks like the kick is blocked. I don't think that one had much of a chance from the beginning.
Extra point is blocked. With 5:27 left in the third quarter, score remains 44.
You know, but as we were saying, with that cold air, it's hard to get the lift on the ball. And I mean, realistically, what a perfect opportunity to get some game time PATs in.
Absolutely. Well, and that's the kind of thing, you know, as Coach Beaver from New Lisbon here, as he's evaluating this game, he sees, 44-18 with 5.5 minutes left in the third quarter. Your thoughts go to how can you get the most out of the situation? You know, as few games as you play throughout the football season, to waste a snap and to waste a down, particularly to waste a whole quarter and a half, that's something you can't afford to do if you're going to be if you're going to look forward and ahead to play these games. So as coach is preparing his team, yes, to win and continue to be dominant, what are the other things that you think he's going to try and work in there to build for the future? I think you're going to be seeing, some underclassmen come in, getting some game time, real game time play. I think we're going to still continue to see a lot of running, a lot of, pushing that ball. It'll be interesting to see how Necedah handles it, to be perfectly honest. Absolutely. You'd like to see Necedah come out, continue to fire out there. And, for my part, I think anytime you have an experience like this where you've got what seems to be at this point right now a one-sided game, there's a concern there for player safety and kind of losing focus and some of these things too. You hope that these players are really focused on the game and can continue to do a good job.
Way to pounce on that ball. The last thing you want to do is turn the ball over and on that kick.
Yes.
And once again with that condensation on the ball, it's a good kick. Easily could have popped out there.
I think my beard can attest to the condensation, to be real honest. I feel like I've got an extra pound or two of water out here.
I was going to say, your beard's looking nice. Looks like you're going on a trip to Mordor later. See, bringing up the five receiver set again.
Yep, so we've got Jaron in there.
I mean, they're keeping him protected there.
Looks like we can go deep for Miles here. All right, now you could be looking at a little PI here. It looks like we had a lot of contact, and we'll have to see what the official on that side says.
Murphy's pass incomplete, intended for Miles Saylor.
It's tough there because there's looked like contact on both sides. But
yeah, when you see a route, we'll look at the replay here as Jaron kind of airs it out, and I think you'll see towards the end right here, you kind of see there's no uncatchable rule in high school football. So, in the pros, if the ball's uncatchable, then you can kind of ward stuff off. With this, if there's contact, it's going to be called. Saylor was obviously contacted towards the end of that. It's unfortunate, but that's what it is.
But just like that, moving the ball.
15-yard mark will be first and 10.
I mean, still hanging on, hanging on and keep on pushing. So,
absolutely.
They're still fighting these kids, and they're going to keep it up till the final whistle.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think youth sometimes has a really neat way of teaching us about this kind of thing where you'd say, it'd be easy to kind of pack it in. And I don't think any one of these kids is thinking about packing it in right now.
No, not at all.
Not watching them run down the sideline like that and just kind of putting it all out there. All right, we've got another tough snap. D-line gets in there right away. You really got to hand it, you really got to hand it to guys. The center, I think, is doing a great job. He's missed a couple of times, but I think that's unavoidable on a night like tonight. And you really got to hand it to Jaron Murphy here and Miles Saylor. Their ability to stay focused, stay on the ball, and not one of those has been a fumble or, has ended where that snap came. So, it's a lot of respect to them for that. You do wonder if taking a snap under center is an option for Necedah. Having not seen all of their games, I can't really speak to that, but you do kind of wonder if that's something that you do eventually if you can.
Well, I think with the pressure New Lisbon's been bringing, I think it'd be hard to get out of the shotgun formation right now. So they're back to pass. Just misses Murphy. Had pressure all over him.
Yeah, Miles Saylor really took one there. You've got three good athletes coming in hard on that one. And as a defensive lineman, when you see a read like that, where you see the quarterback dropping back, frequently you're too far committed at that point to stop and turn back for the running back. So you're hoping to interrupt things by getting back there as fast as you can. And sometimes, the quarterback just ends up having to kind of sell their body to be able to get that pass off, which is kind of what happened there.
And you said it before, great sign of sportsmanship on both players or both sides, helping the quarterback out. You know, a little, I'm sure, nice hit going back and forth. So I
mean, kind, respectful words, I'm sure.
Oh, coming through. Oh.
All right, Miles going to air it out. Looks like he had a receiver. Went off the fingertips, I think. But no, you're right. In that situation there, Saylor, you know, he's got hit by 3 guys at the same time. I got to figure he's not terribly happy getting up from that hit. And it would be easier, or it would be easy in that position to get up and be upset, and that wasn't the case. So, I mean, as close as these players are, as far as the schools are concerned, you know, rivalry, if you want to call it that, but, you know, just competition. Oh, and we'll see what happened on the pass here. Hard to tell. Looks like the receiver may have gotten a hand on it. But as close as these players are, you know, and how frequently they play each other, it's refreshing to see that sportsmanship. New Lisbon continues to bring heavy pressure.
Nice interception there.
Great hands there.
Interception,
Gunnar Peterson. That's a tough catch.
That was tough. The ball was, you know, acting like a duck there a little bit.
Yeah, hung up a little bit, especially when, as you see in the replay here, you know, he's coming forward. That ball's going, you know, through him there. If you're a receiver and you're coming with the ball, you know, it's a little easier maybe to hold on to that. But the defensive back in there, you know, Gunnar does a great job of jumping that route. And, you know, I mean, that's, you know, he's coming towards that ball as the ball's coming towards him. That's a tough catch. So we'll see what Necedah can do to try and stop this run, and you know we're going to see that New Lisbon continue to try and pound it.
We're up the middle. We got blockers.
Good fight there by Necedah. I see some heavy teamwork going in there. At the bottom of the pile, looks like it was 42 there. Trenton Whipple again. So we've seen him a couple of times in there on the tackles, getting his nose in it.
Call it 2nd and 4 from the 37.
Also, you got number 53 in there, Robert Swenson. He's actually a true freshman. So he's a freshman, and he's out here holding his own in varsity, and that's something to be respected, you know, especially in the trenches, as it were, on defense there.
Sam Rogers ahead close to first down yardage.
Now this is going to be two down territory as far as I don't think now is going to be the first time we'll see a punt. So they're going to have to probably stop a run here twice unless New Lisbon comes out with some trickery.
Yeah, it's kind of, I mean, realistically, the punting game has not existed this whole game. It's been almost like a game of Madden. No one wants to punt. They want the score as much as they possible.
Absolutely.
Oh, a little bit of a false start. You know, and that's where it's hard when you, I mean, you're looking at 3rd and short. It's so hard because that offensive line, they want to move and you have the defenders. I mean, right there. Oh, wow.
Result of that is a 1st and 10 Rockets.
Clearly, I do not know what I'm talking about now.
Well, I'm on your side. I guess my understanding with that is that I would have thought that it was all sides, unless he was in what they call the neutral zone, you know, in the width of the ball there. Unless he was in the neutral zone, that play should have kept going. I'm not sure why they.
Well, it is.
There we go. Okay. See, I think that was your. I'm guessing that was your confusion there because they stopped the play. Right?
Yeah.
Back to full start. We'll bring up 3rd and 6.
Well, you know, I think what happened is I think the refs, I think their hands got a little cold and the signals got confused. I think it's an easy mistake to make. I don't know, maybe it's just because my hands are cold that I'm having a hard time. You know, it really does put into perspective, too, what these kids are going through. I know they're warmed up because they're moving, but I mean, it's a pretty big toll on the body.
Oh, look at the pass.
Turn it out again.
Oh.
Ooh. Great job going up to try and get that again.
Yellow there being thrown out.
Walter Von Delaski on coverage. Flag in the play.
So it looks like we've got an ineligible receiver on the offense. So if that was ineligible man downfield, I guess technically is that call. So might have had a confusion, offensive lineman or somebody maybe thinking that we were having, it was going to be a run play, you know. And then,
maybe they thought the quarterback was breaking it out
sure.
to do a run. So
yeah, which both teams have been known to do. So, I mean, I could understand that. Yeah, absolutely. Then the ref confirms, ineligible man downfield. It looks like Necedah is going to decline that.
Bringing up 4th and 6 for the Rockets.
So we'll see if Necedah can't get a stop here. New Lisbon's hoping to capitalize on this. Are we going to see our first punt of the night here, Bones?
We may see our first punt. But, you know, with New Lisbon, it's not a strange thing for some trickery. So we'll kind of see what...
Right.
Was it? No.
All right, now he took his time.
It was a punt.
Got a good punt off.
Nice high punt there.
Now, New Lisbon's got to be careful there because as soon as they touch it, you know, that's a live ball. You've seen that before where you see a punt is a little shorter and it touches off the kicking team. And what can happen there is as soon as that touches that player, you know, the receiving team can pick that up and can run it. And really, after it touches you know, in this case it would have been New Lisbon, after it touches that player, the worst thing that can happen for Necedah is for the ball to go back there. So even if he were to run down and have a turnover or something like that, it would go, you know, the ball would revert to where it was first touched. So sometimes, you know, you'll see players take a risk. If it's already touched the kicking team, they'll kind of grab it quick and try and go.
Well, with where that ball fell, I thought it had a good chance of touching a Necedah player, but thankfully it did not for Necedah there anyway.
Yep. And so now we're going to see a little bit here from Necedah. Looks like they're going to drop back and pass right away. Another completion to Tyler Reichel. Reichel.
Peterson on the tackle.
You know, and Peterson had a nice tackle there. So, but I mean, we've been seeing nice tackles all night.
Yep. They've done well. Early on, it looked like it took them a minute to catch up with some of what Necedah was doing, the crossing patterns, you know, some of those things, and they've really adjusted very, very well. And though Reichel has had a chance to get free a couple of times, overall, New Lisbon's done a great job, you know, forcing turnovers. We see another screen pass here.
Middle screen. I mean, it's been working for him.
Got a nice hard run here.
You know it's slick when the official takes a slip.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing you get up and you kind of feel it in your pride a little bit. But he's a professional, so he's going to keep going.
Well, thankfully, a coach from New Lisbon was right there to slap him on the rear. So,
as a good football coach does with a peer in this program, apparently.
Well, you know, that just brings up, if we're seeing officials taking a slide here, very well possible seeing, you know, D-backs, anybody, you know, taking a slip and falling down here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not going to get better as the night goes on. It's only going to get worse.
What happens if you go in front of it?
We have some guest announcers in the booth, but
What
we'll see what ends up happening.
Another pitch.
A lot of pressure.
All right, we got a great
going
block
around
in
the
back.
corner. Seeing the flag come out, I think it might be a legal block.
Yep. You know, and hey, here's another thing to respect too. That was a hard block, hard hit, and you know, players are shaking hands afterwards. There's a lot of respect going on here, and that's just, you know, that's something I don't think we see enough of, to be honest.
You know,
15-yard tripping penalty.
Oh, tripping. Okay. It's too bad. You see a play that works, something that goes well, and then you have to come back on a penalty like that. It's too bad.
You know, well, it might have worked so good because of the trip, but I can't
That's
quite
a fair
tell.
point, Bones. That's a fair point.
But who knows what Murphy would have been able to
First
do.
and 25
Yeah.
from the 25.
Yeah, 1st and 25. That's a tough one. So one thing you hope to see here is Necedah get a chance to get a completion, get something going, and make a guy miss.
You know, overloading here this right side, and that's the side he's been really successful with rolling out.
All right, looks like he kind of faked that screen a little bit. So I don't know if that was a broken play, but he's going to make the most of it. Covers the ball up. Good hard run, but New Lisbon managed to smother him for a minimal gain.
2nd and 20.
Yeah, I think the slickness of the ground and some of those things, I think that really kind of shrinks your playbook sometimes. And when you've got a team that does certain things really well, the defensive backfield for New Lisbon, you know, barring the single, you know, longer blown reception, the touchdown reception that they had, you know, other than that play, they've really done a great job of forcing turnovers and interrupting Necedah's passing game.
They really have.
Completion for what looks to be a first down.
Pass complete.
Oh no, Jared, not quite.
Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry.
Reception.
I think they're back to the original line of scrimmage there.
Yes, that was the marker I was looking at.
3rd and 10.
So they've got, they got 25 yards, or excuse me, 15 yards back in the first 2 plays there. We'll see if they can't get another 15 here.
Yeah, we'll see. 'Cause I don't think we're going to see a punt from Necedah the rest of the night. So rolling out again. Oh,
Nice pump fake from Saylor. It looks like.
oh, nice moves there.
Yeah, it looks like
Ball
Reichel managed
came out
to keep.
at the end, but
Oh, did it?
I'm pretty sure he was down when that ball squirted out. So
Robinson.
Is that going to be enough for a first down? It looks like Reichel did a great job of keeping in bounds with that.
1st and 10 for the Cardinals.
And it is.
excellent.
48-yard line.
Excellent move. Like we said, here's an instant replay. You'll see it here.
Now, one thing that's fun to watch, there's 2 things to point out there. One, Miles Saylor had a great pump fake, and that made it, made the linebacker kind of bite and allowed him to come up, and then gave him space to throw that pass to Reichel, and then Reichel did a great job of staying in bounds as another screen pass falls incomplete.
I do find it interesting. I know it's working, the screen up the middle. We have, in the first half, those out patterns really were working, like playing that sideline, especially the right sideline. I'm interested to see if we're going to see that again.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a little bit of hesitation now with some of the turnovers and the great job the defensive backfield has done. But you're right. It's hard to not want to go back to that after as well as they've done early in the game on those.
No.
All right, looks like we're going to see the 3rd quarter come to a close here.
Throw across his body. Oh, it's dangerous.
Sailor's pass intended for Reichel, broken up.
Dangerous passes, right. So we've got 2.6 seconds left in the 3rd quarter, so this looks like this will likely be the last play of the 3rd quarter. And Necedah's got to see if they've got anything in the tank. It's unlikely for them to be able to do anything with the rest of the game as far as bringing it back within reach. But, I can't say it's impossible. They've got some things going for them, and they've got some good athletes, too.
Well, and the coaching staff in New Lisbon, they do not want to see Necedah score here. They want their defense to hold and make a point. Statement game.
Yeah, I think if you're New Lisbon here, you really try and choke off. I think you're playing up a little harder, almost kind of understanding that maybe a deep ball goes through. But,
Look at the halfback pitch. Oh no, he's lowering his shoulder. He's going.
All right, Jared Murphy goes, and that'll close out the 3rd quarter.
Keeps it close to the Rocket 40-yard line. We'll bring up the 4th and about 2 when
All
we
right,
start
so he's
the
got
4th quarter.
So we've got 2 yards left on this one here.
Cardinals 18.
See if they can try and convert the first down. Headed into the 4th quarter, and you see Jared Murphy make the decision here. Notice as soon as he makes that decision, he really cuts, great speed out of the backfield there, really cuts it up right away.
We want to thank our sponsors for making it possible to bring you this New Lisbon Rockets football game. Silver Star Health, organic food, gym, coffee, flowers and gifts, taking care of your mind, body, and soul. Rudig Jensen, Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. Your next adventure awaits. Mile Bluff, New Lisbon Family Medical Center, healthcare evolving for life. Image Production Studios. Life is short. Make it an amazing story.
As we listen to the train in the background, Jared.
Yes.
Just looking around, 1 quarter left to play, and these fans, you can tell they're really excited. They can't wait. They can't wait to bring home the victory here.
Oh, absolutely. I'm actually, if I'm being real honest, I'm surprised there's as many as they are right now. Sometimes you do kind of see a thinning of the herd, as it were, when the games get out of reach, as this one seems to be right now. Not that it necessarily is, but as a fan, you kind of got to look at this and kind of wonder if it's really worth being cold. So, respect to New Lisbon fans for sticking it out, and Necedah as well. So, all around, I think this is the kind of atmosphere that really kind of brings the most out of games that may or may not be homecoming games, but are definitely chilly nights, drawn to the end of the 2017 year where it's hospitable to be outside at night.
Yeah, I'm guessing the heaters may be turned on in a lot of homes tonight, just how chilly it's got over the last few weeks.
Yeah, I confess, I kicked the heater on today myself already, so I succumbed quite early. I'll be honest.
Well, and as I saw, as you came out of your car, you had a lovely, I believe, are they Snuggies you were driving in? I mean, staying nice and toasty, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, one can never be too careful when it comes to winter driving in Wisconsin. Not that it's necessarily winter yet, but. All right, so we've got 4th down, 2 yards to get about for Necedah. Gonna motion.
And a motion.
Murphy across.
Overload slide here.
On the flats here, but Saylor's gonna sneak through. Boy, did he get it? It's close. It is close.
First down yardage.
I don't know. That was a heads-up defense to grab on and hang on and write him down.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he has what it takes. I think we're gonna have to bring the chains out.
Get a measurement here. I think he looks short to me, but if it was, it wasn't by much. Like you said, great heads-up play by the defense there, bringing him down shy.
You know, there's kind of a silence, kind of waiting to see if they're gonna erupt here.
Oh, that's close. Wow, was that close? Oh, wow. I think that's about as close as it gets right there. Great stand by New Lisbon right there. Great stand.
And you heard the Rocket players, you heard the excitement there.
Absolutely, absolutely. Speaking of excitement, how excited are you to warm up your hands back in the car?
I'm going to be pretty excited. I kind of wish I had brought my mittens today with the string attached. It would have been nice to have. Well, nice run.
Yeah, way to manage to get yards there by Sam.
You know, every time tonight that we thought Rogers was going to get stopped in the background or backfield, he's been able to, you know, keep his legs moving and at least get some sort of positive game.
Yeah, he's done a great. I mean, really, you know, as slippery as it's been and is getting worse, I am continually kind of amazed that these kids are able to continue to get. You know, there really hasn't been that many broken plays that resulted in a loss of yards. There's been a couple, but not as many as there could have been. That's for sure.
Oh, breaking it out.
Boy, does he have that speed. Zach Lowe really does.
Inside the 40-yard line.
You know, it's got to be tough as a defense to see the different kinds of runs and the different kind of athletes. You know, Zach comes downhill hard like that. You've got, you know, Sam Rogers has got a slightly different style where he's, you know, very quick, but, you know, pretty shifty as well. And then you've got a completely different style by Gunnar Peterson, who kind of picks his way daintily, as might a dancer, and then kind of turns it on. You know, strength and grace, all those things included.
I couldn't have said it better. I really couldn't, Jared. You know, Rockets have to be looking just to keep pounding this ball because, I mean, they're getting whatever they want.
Yes, they are. They really are. And part of the
up the middle.
Part of the problem I think that I'm seeing with Necedah is I think they're trying to read too much too early. You know, there comes a point in time where you kind of call it like setting the edge or whatever the case is. But you know, that line of scrimmage, you have to move the line of scrimmage, and whoever moves the line of scrimmage the best tends to do well, particularly in a game, you know, that's been controlled by, and New Lisbon has, by running the ball. So if you're Necedah, you can't sit and read and then act. You know, there's too much downhill, there's too much speed, too much power that New Lisbon's showing right now. They really, you really have to kind of disrupt things a little bit more, which
they bottled them up.
There you go, and a play like that where they did a great job disrupting, but that really comes from firing out into the offensive line. You know, you can't just sit and kind of read. But that's also easy to look at when you're looking at a TV screen sitting comfortably on a chair, you know, than when you're in the moment, you know, fighting it out, as it were. Another couple of substitutions for Necedah's defensive line here. See if they can't change that up a little bit. Another inside handoff.
Oh, breaks
broken
the tackle.
And he's going to get down to almost the 15-yard line there, I think.
Timer on the tackle.
Yeah, I mean, you have Necedah on their heels, you know, and New Lisbon really wants to, you know, I really think they want to get another score in at least before the end of this game.
Well, and honestly, what else can you do?
Well, exactly.
You know, if you're a coach, you never want to tell players to take a play off because that's how people get hurt. You know, you never want to tell players that, oh, it's okay, we don't have to go as hard because, you know, I don't think that's any more respectful than, you know, than doing everything you can do.
Fighting for extra yardage there. I can't quite tell. I think he's just shy, maybe at the 2-yard line.
Zach Lowe, close to first down yardage.
Now, I see a couple of numbers I haven't seen a whole lot of tonight for New Lisbon. Number 22, Dakota Coca. Also seeing Jake Rogers.
Second and 1 Rockets inside the 5-yard line.
Yeah, and if you're Coach Beaver for New Lisbon here, you've got your guys have been doing what you do and doing it well. You know, yeah, you want to pay respect to your opponent that's due them, and I think, you know, it's a pretty, you know, it's a classy move to bring in some kids and give them a chance in a situation that maybe they wouldn't. No, it doesn't mean. No, it's a great job. Did he get the first? Oh, actually, he got the touchdown.
Jake Rogers into the end zone for the Rockets.
Jake Rogers, good for him. Way to hit that hole hard.
3:26 left in the fourth quarter. Rockets
he kept his legs moving like an automotive that we just saw going past. I mean, he just kept pushing through. That's just a great run, great effort.
Absolutely, absolutely. Jake Rogers is a sophomore. You know, he's got more football ahead of him too, so this is a chance for him to get out there and.
Jake Rogers in for the extra point.
Oh, great block.
Sam Rogers' extra point is blocked.
He was able to get in there, get his arms up.
Score remains 15-18.
Good effort.
Absolutely.
Once again, Papa Murphy's Pizza is available. Pick up
this
your
is
pizzas
definitely
after the game on your way
cocoa
out.
and 2 marshmallow night. I tell you that right now.
You're a 2 marshmallow guy.
At least.
That's living it up right there.
I might just be a bag of marshmallows.
Yeah, you know what? Let's take this minute real quickly. We're going to go to a commercial quick. So we're going to come back. We'll come back and see more Rocket and Cardinal football after this.
We want to thank our sponsors for making it possible to bring you this New Lisbon Rockets football game. Lynx, reliable, trusted service for your internet, TV, and telephone. Dean's Refrigeration and Heating. Efficiency is our business. Comfort is your reward. Timberwood Bank. Reliable, friendly, dedicated. Baroque Winery. Not only one of Wisconsin's premier wineries, they also host gatherings up to 90 people. Image Production Studios. Life is short. Make it an amazing story.
All right, thanks again, sports fans. Thanks for tuning in here. We've got the Lisbon Rockets and the Necedah Cardinals. Right now, the score is, with 8.5 minutes left in the game, the score is New Lisbon Rockets 50 and Necedah 18. So we see a couple of different things happening. We have seen some substitutions. A couple of players that we haven't seen carry the ball tonight have. We just had Jake Rogers come in, score a late touchdown, working hard in there. So New Lisbon's changing some things up. They're not trying to, they're not trying to embarrass anybody, but they're still not quitting either.
Well, exactly. I think right here, Necedah's got to watch out for that short kick. It's been burning them all night.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yep, another squib kick. Good call there, Bones.
Oh, picked up, running hard.
Hey, there's no quit there. Nice hard run.
Good wrap up.
Nice head run by Dylan Timer. You know, on those short kicks, the squib kicks like that, that can happen sometimes where you get an athlete's got a quick, just a quick gets up vertically very quickly, and it's not uncommon to see them break one line and all of a sudden they're behind, kind of the entire kicking team. So good job by New Lisbon to rally up on that.
James Steele had a great tackle there. Way to bring him in. I mean, that momentum was pushing him, so great to drag him to the ground.
New Lisbon staying with that 3-man front. Looks like they're going to continue to bring pressure with the 3 defensive linemen there. And Reichel with another catch.
Another first down.
You know, he's got some great hands. You know, I think he's really done just a wonderful job on a night like tonight, cold and wet, to be able to continue to catch a ball like that. That's impressive. All right, looks like we get a, I'm guessing a cramp right here. He doesn't look to be in too much pain, but usually that's what you see in an athlete who's got a little cramp. They can't quite get worked out. I'm guessing calf cramp on that one.
I'm not sure. I'm just hoping everything's okay.
Yeah, looks like he's a little bit of frustration, you know, as an athlete, and I see other athletes when I see him get hurt. It's the frustration that you prefer to see. It's the desperation that you don't want to see. So when you see a player who's kind of frustrated by something, usually it means he understands what the problem is, and it's going to be okay. At least that's what you hope.
Well, and in this cold weather, it's why it's important to really stay warm, stay as stretched out as possible. So.
Yeah, just being cold alone consumes extra calories. So some kids have different, you know, preparation things that they do. When I was in high school, before basketball games, I would always eat a sleeve of Pringles and drink a quart of whole milk. I'm not convinced that was the best pregame meal, but that was my tradition.
Well, and it's amazing you became a dietitian.
That would have been amazing, yes.
You know, crowd and clapping as he comes off the field. Hope everything's all right there.
Yeah, so that's Robert Robinson. He's done a great job, kind of all over the place on defense. I can understand. It looks like he's still got that thing cramped up and locked up. I mean, that's painful. Cramps are not fun. You know, pickle juice does wonders for cramps.
Oh, really?
And if you think I'm kidding, I'm not.
I think he's trying to trick you fans out there, because I do not think you should be drinking pickle juice. But you're the dietitian. Right?
Yeah, right, according to you. Pickles are really the perfect snack, if we're on the subject.
Coming back to the line here.
See, he's going to look to throw one of those handy inside routes.
You know, that's going to be close to another first down. I think it's going to be a little short, though.
Yeah, you know, it's too bad that a handful of mistakes have kind of defined, you know, the game. And I say a handful of mistakes. You point to a couple of picks, you know, a couple of drop passes, things like that. It's like Necedah really has moved the ball well, but it seems like every time they do, they turn it over.
Yeah, I mean, he broke up play almost with a huge interception there.
Isaac Labuda, the pass breakup, brings up 3rd and 1.
And that's one thing I think when you look at the course of a game and you pick out, you know, I had a college coach that always tell me, you know, that the game is really made on 4 or 5 plays. And, you know, every play is important, but you can always point back to 4 or 5 plays that really kind of define a game. And, you know, for me, you have that early touchdown by Necedah, in my opinion. I think that kind of defined the game, because it really told Lisbon, hey, these guys are here to play, and you can't just walk in just because it's your homecoming and think that you're gonna be victorious. Well, you know, Lisbon turned around and they just, you know, they kind of poured it on the fire after that, and they never really quit.
Yeah.
And I think that had a lot to do with how the game's gone since then.
I couldn't agree more. Sometimes you need that wake-up call.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're antsy, you're nervous. You know, it's a big special night, and you know they really answered the call since that first possession.
Absolutely. So we've got 7 minutes left here in the 4th quarter. Necedah's pushing to try and get a late score in the books here.
Still dragging him down.
Sailor on the carry. Josh Logan, the tackle for the Rockets.
Big tackle by Josh Logan there.
2 will bring up 2nd and 8.
Yeah, now you get to see
the 29-yard line.
Now you get to see some of the things that I really enjoy about high school athletics. You get to see a complete team effort here. So for a team, you know, for a team like New Lisbon, whose the numbers are down, you get a lot of the guys that tend to do the same work, which can be, you know, a huge burden on them. But then, you know, some younger guys, now you get a chance to see the guys that maybe don't see as many of the snaps. You get to see them come in. It's good for a coach because you get to help the younger kids get some experience. And it's good for them, too. It's a confidence booster. They get a chance to really contribute and be part of a big victory.
Just jumping right on it. Stop and play.
Miles Sailor, loss of
Yeah, one of the big things with it, you know, the kids that don't necessarily see as many game time snaps, they're working just as hard in practice as any of the other stars. They're pushing them and getting these starters prepared and ready.
Absolutely.
I know from my high school days, that was something that I always took pride in, trying to make the starters not only prepared, but doing my best to prepare myself just in case I needed to get in there.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the old adage of, you know, a chain is only as strong as its weakest link is, I think it's still true for that reason.
Nice reception there.
Pass complete to Reichel.
Reichel brings another one in. I mean, he's got sure hands. He's a good athlete. He gets out and gets the ball.
A little instant replay, you'll be able to see this reception here.
First down, Cardinals.
You know, it's a good route that's ran, good pass, able to get up there in front of the D-backs, pull that ball in.
Yeah, you run crossing routes like that, you really force the decision by the D-backs, and you give your receivers a chance to have a little bit of space to go up and get the ball.
Airing it out.
Another look. Ooh. In and out of the hands of the receiver there. Murphy did a great job going up to get the ball and just couldn't bring it back home.
Well, I think there was 3 defenders right there. It's hard to bring that in when you're getting hit immediately after it touches your hands.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. You got a Necedah offensive lineman slow to get up, but back in the huddle, so it's good to see. Necedah's going to draw something up here. 2 wide receivers out.
You know, looking out, getting that corner. He's got that corner. He's turning it. He's turning it. We'll see where he gets.
I think he's got it.
First down carry.
There you go.
Inside the 10-yard
So yeah, I mean, Lisbon's still going to bring the pressure. You know, they're still going to try and force that ball to come out quickly. And here, you know, Miles Saylor recognized it. Looks like the pass patterns on the right-hand side were kind of moving left across the field. And, you know, that allowed him with cornerbacks, you know, head turn, allowed him to really capitalize on that, get the corner, get the first down. First and goal from the 8-yard line, it looks like.
You know, as it gets, you know, cooler and cooler, I keep hearing people walking by talking about they wish they would have brought their long johns here tonight.
Wow.
I don't think they anticipated the coolness in the air, the crisp autumn air.
Yeah.
You know, and these players have been doing a great job fighting through that.
Well, and it has been, you call it unseasonably warm. Hey, there we go. We got a touchdown there by Reichel.
And it looked like another one of those out patterns. That's been working quite a bit, or quite well tonight for them.
Yeah. Well, and I think that goes to show that you got to have a little diversity in your game plan. And you know, right now Necedah's had success in those, but you know, outside of the first quarter, they had not had sustained success in too many other plays. You know, New Lisbon has, the one thing that they've done, you know, incredibly well is they've, yes, that those passes have hurt them, but they haven't broken them. Mm-hmm. And, you know, as you show, kind of now it's kind of, I think, that kind of war of attrition where New Lisbon is going to continue to prevent the big plays. You know, yes, some of those inside crossing, you know, routes and the outside and the out routes, you know, some of them are going to hurt. As Necedah converts that two-point conversion and bring the score to 26-50. But as those, you know, as those plays go, you know, some of them are going to hurt. But New Lisbon's done a great job of not allowing those to define the game and getting the stops when they need. And you know, hats off to New Lisbon and the effort they've had.
Yeah, if I would have realized how chilly it was going to be, I would have brought my fedora for tonight. But I was thinking, without the sun was out, I thought it would. I thought, you know, the coolness would subside just a tad bit. But I'm sure, you know, all the bow hunters out there probably excited tomorrow. Kind of first cold day again, or cooler day, cooler morning. Hopefully, have some action in their stands tomorrow. So.
Yeah, those bow hunters are crazy, and I only say that because it's a lot of work. I mean, you know, those bow hunters are really dedicated to that, and I respect anybody that's willing to put that much time and effort into it.
Now, it'll be interesting to see again, coming up here, with the score where it is, do you feel that a onside kick or a squid kick is on its way to try to convert it?
If it wasn't an onside kick or a squid kick, I think I'd be more surprised by that than anything I've seen yet tonight. And it's hard to argue, I guess.
It's really worked.
Neither team, neither team it seems to have been hurt, I guess, by that much. But then again, maybe you give New Lisbon longer fields to get through if you're kicking it deeper rather than squibbing it every time too. It's hard to say. I guess I look at the NFL game and the college game as sometimes being good examples of why all the coaches tend to do the same things.
Way to pick up the ball. Trying to make a big play there. Could have been a dangerous situation.
Yeah, and that's not the first time we've seen somebody almost kind of break through that level. Once you get somebody through that level, that's the danger that you run. But like in the replay here, you see it's not a bad kick, but does a great job of grabbing that ball and going. And honestly, I think that's part of the problem with constantly kicking it onside and not. You really give up a lot of field position. You make it a little easier on the opposing team because the field, with the shorter field position means they don't have to work as hard to get the touchdown. And truth be told, I don't think it's gone that well for Necedah yet. So.
Well, really, I think they weren't expecting him to grab it and run. I think they expected him to land it. Oh, fumble, picks it up, try and make something on nothing.
Managed to convert the pass.
Peterson's pass after the bad snap, complete to Eugene Taylor.
Peterson really has done a great job on the kick return team. He's snagged a couple of them, and sure hands like that are really a big deal. We've got an athlete down for Necedah right now. Can't really tell who it is. We're going to take a minute and give him a chance to talk to the athletic trainers. I've been in that position, and you can't appreciate an athletic trainer enough for their ability to come out and talk you through things, small hurts and big hurts. They do a great job, and in my opinion, it's kind of a selfless thing. It's really a dedicate. It's neat to see them come out and serve in that way. I respect them, and I appreciate that profession a great deal. In fact, I see my athletic trainer from high school every year because she holds a garage sale at our house. So, all right, well, we're going to give this athlete a chance to try and bounce back here, and we're going to go to a commercial break. So we'll see you guys 4 minutes, 41 seconds left in the fourth quarter here in New Lisbon.
We want to thank our sponsors for making it possible to bring you this New Lisbon Rockets football game. Silver Star Health, organic food, gym, coffee, flowers and gifts, taking care of your mind, body, and soul. Rudig Jensen, Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. Your next adventure awaits. Mile Bluff, New Lisbon Family Medical Center. Healthcare evolving for life. Image Production Studios. Life is short. Make it an amazing story.
All right, well, good to see that athlete up and walking off here. Hard-fought game. It's been a long game for him. Got a lot of snaps. And it's when you see a player down, there's nothing you want to see more than him get him up with under his own power. He's got the assistance of a teammate there, and that's great. But I mean, at least he's able to carry himself off, and that it's probably not going to be at least that bad, at least at this point.
Yeah, fingers crossed. He'll be back next week playing. So, it kind of puts a slowness in the. Kind of takes a little bit of the momentum away from New Lisbon here. But with 441, I got to think we're going to continue to see some ground game. I don't know what you think, Jared.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be anything else right now. I think the game is obviously very well out of hand, and you've got other concerns at this point than just straight winning because. Oh, and we got another run broken off. There. Boy, he is a good athlete. He really is. Zach does a great job. He's got, he runs hard, and when he hits a hole, he just goes. So you see the replay here, he gets a chance to get through that second level, slip towards the end there, but really, as soon as he got that ball, he broke one tackle and was gone.
And he kept his head up, so he saw the defenders. He was able to hit the holes hard. I mean, that's just huge. That's just huge, just to see that at this level. So. Yeah,
absolutely. So we've got 2-point conversion attempt coming. If they make it, then that would be 58-26. If they miss it, then we'll score. I'll keep it 56.
With nice hands on that snap, he was able to save what potentially was a fumble.
Cut back upfield.
Rumbles and stumbles in. And 2-point conversion.
Good for him. That's good. He's had. I think that's his second touch tonight. and he's got a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. So for him, that's a great, that's a good night.
Well, as I say, if you have him for fantasy, that's
a winner.
That's a good score.
Yeah, you call him the vulture at that point. You kind of vulture the late scores there. You always hope to get a couple of those, or at least one of them on your fantasy team. I'm actually coming off of a victory year myself. Last year, my fantasy team did very well, and I'm still riding high on that one. Actually, feel pretty good about it. So score 58-26. Lisbon up on Necedah. Game very well in hand. There's only 4 minutes and 33 seconds left.
And there's no quit in either team. I mean, that's the nice thing that, we've seen all night. There hasn't been any quit at all, and you can really see the hearts in these players' sleeves.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's one of the best parts about high school athletics there is. And it's why I encourage anybody, to participate in team athletics, because there's such an element of you can't quit. You want to, you by yourself, maybe you might, but you don't quit because there's 10 other guys in the field and there's a handful of other guys or gals when it's a different sport on the sidelines that, you don't quit because of them. You might want to, it might be painful or uncomfortable, but you refuse to quit because nobody else is quitting and you don't want to be that one.
Oh wow. Nice. Lowered the shoulder and ran right over. Got a few yards on that return.
Yeah, Tima, he's done a great job. I think that's the second time in a row the ball's gone to him in the last 2 returns, and each time he's managed to get yards on it. That time he lowered the shoulder a little bit. Like you said, no quitting these guys. But yeah, I think participation in a team sport like football, lots of team sports have that benefit. And when you see guys, gals, giving everything they have for the sake of the team and kind of in a cause that's greater than their own, I think that's when you see the best of people,
Well, and it definitely helps as they, graduate and get out in the real world, too. You could really always tell those who played, team activities. Or in any team club, for that matter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good run.
Nice hard run.
Keeping his feet moving.
Absolutely, great job there. Yeah, and I've been asked in just about every job interview I can think of, I've been asked if I participated in a team sport. I mean, you have to be able to work with other people. As we got a player down here for Necedah.
2nd and 2 from midfield.
Looks like could be another cramp. And when I say hopefully, I only mean that, cramps are relatively minor things. So, hopefully it is something simple like a cramp that is with some nutrition and rest, is not permanently affected, a thing that permanently affects you. But obviously you don't want to see anybody hurt or limping off the field. But yeah, working through pain and fighting through pain and discomfort, that's not something that I think is natural. I think, your body's response sometimes is to give up or is to quit. And the ability to push past pain for the sake of something not yourself, I mean, that's a thing I can respect in anybody. Even if they're dressed a lot more nicely than I am, like yourself there, Bones.
Oh, fumble there.
Off a snap, and he does the smart thing and just goes down and covers it up. It's too bad, though. You're kind of hoping to see a first down there out of him or a chance to continue that drive if you're a Necedah fan. But also, I think it pays credence to the damage that the defensive line for Lisbon is doing. Constant pressure, and eventually that dam can break, and you really do see the consequences of that. All right, we see another athlete coming in from Necedah who was just out for injury. It looks like a cramp, so I mean, he's back, so that's good news.
We have just over 3.5 minutes left to kind of see what happens. And they're kind of scoring's been kind of slowing down. I know we just saw a score not too long ago. We'll see what Necedah can pull away and get a score here. Dangerous pass, way to bat it down.
Broken up by Josh Wogan.
Yeah, nice heads-up play by the defense there. It's easy when you see, you kind of see the waters part, as it were. You kind of see that gap, and all of a sudden, you've been fighting so hard to get to the quarterback all game long. The offensive line looks like it just kind of opens up magically, and you go, hey, I got a line. I'm going to get him, and you kind of get hungry, and all of a sudden, you're past yourself and it was a screen and they're behind you. So it's a heads-up play by a defensive lineman who can think through that, realize that he's wide open for a reason and the offense kind of wants him to be, and slow his pace up, get in. He almost got a pick after that one, so good for him.
Running around the corner there.
Roll out to the right. He's going to choose to run. All right, looks like some extra contact, some extra affection after the players run out of bounds.
Run out of bounds short of the first down. There is a flag in the play.
I think that's going to be a first down just because of that penalty there.
Yeah, those personal fouls are usually automatic first, I believe. Bones, we're coming back here, drawing down, 3 minutes left. We got some fan assistance here. You may want to heads up here, buddy. Back it up there.
Well, he's getting his good side at least. It's right there.
Yeah, your head. I don't know if you can see your head right there is moving. Yeah, so you're going to...
Yeah, just moonwalk it back just a tad.
Hey, what's your name, buddy?
Nathan.
What's that?
Nathan.
Nathan? Well, what do you think about the game so far? So far, so good. Well, it looks like it's going to continue to be good for another 3 minutes and 3 seconds for New Lisbon here. The personal foul does result in a first down for Necedah. They're going to try and capitalize on that. Late hit out of bounds.
37-yard line.
Where you guys go to
I'm looking around. I'm seeing more and more fans kind of dance around. Oh, clear shot the quarterback. Way to break that tackle. He's keeping the play alive. They're still, I think, just short of the original line of scrimmage there.
Yeah, good job by Miles on able to get back to their line of scrimmage. But you notice, too, that the lack of traction, how slick that grass is, he's not able to make that hard cut like he was in the first quarter and second quarter. And, it tells when the defense has a chance to rally up on that because you haven't had a chance, because he can't make that hard cut. So 2nd and 10 on the snap here. We'll see what Necedah's able to do. High snap, but brings it back down. Is able to make that quick completion to Murphy.
Keeping him in bounds there. Good tackle.
Is it going to be enough for the first down? Looks close. Yeah, it looks like it will be. First down for Jaron Murphy there.
I believe it was Holtz on that tackle. That was a nice tackle, reeling him in.
24-yard line of the Rockets.
So Necedah's going to hustle up and try and get the most that they can out of these last couple minutes. Pass out to Reichel.
Nice pass up the middle there.
There you go. Heard quite a bit of.
As you go on, I know the game is coming to a close, but you want to you're still putting in plays that you could use later on in the season. Yep. And you have to think that's what the coaching staff.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that if you're Necedah, you're really trying to pick what you can do and has a chance of success. You're trying to do it well, and like you said, you're trying to build towards the next game. Pass complete, and still fighting for yards.
Keep on pushing. They're hustling back to the line, it looks like.
Yeah, some good sportsmanship there. Again, no surprise. These teams have been nothing but classy. And even the hits that have been flagged and some of these things, I think they were more, mistakes in judgment. There is nothing malicious there. Nobody, I haven't seen anybody stomping on fingers or anything, which can happen. So it's pretty impressed by these teams tonight.
Coming down under a minute left, 48 seconds. We'll see what Necedah could do here.
Trying to get one late score back. Throw it up the end zone. Ooh.
Ball deflected.
Couple of Rockets had a chance at that one and just couldn't bring it home.
That stops the clock. That gives Necedah a little bit more time to maybe try to come up with a play here to try to get, maybe a final score in.
Yeah, I actually think, sometimes a couple of those plays that Necedah has run, for little to no gain, for 2-yard gain or completions, almost kind of hurt him in the end when you're playing against a New Lisbon Rockets team that's run the ball so well. And here's Necedah is going to pitch it quick, try and cut up and get that touchdown, and he does.
Whipple into the end zone.
Caught up and dancing like John Travolta's Saturday Night Fever. He's able to get in.
Able to take it home. Although I don't think the uniform's quite the same. I could
Not
be wrong.
quite.
I could be wrong.
We'll see. Maybe the bell bottoms will come back and
It could be.
pad sense. You know, going for 2 here, you know, clearly, we'll see what they run. I mean, do they try to, you know, get some more attack on the ground, or do they try to, you know, the inside screen has worked for him here.
Yeah, yep, yeah, it has.
Ball on the ground again, picked up. Try and make something out of it.
Miles is able to throw across, and Saylor completes it on the inside. That's a tough. I think that's a tough ball to throw. He's thrown some passes that have been, you know, tough to complete, and he's completed some. There's other ones that haven't, but I mean, I gotta respect, you know, an athlete who's able to move like that on the quick. You know, you had the mistake on the snap, or, you know, whatever happened there, you can have a bumbled snap a little bit. You got to recover and still able to complete the 2-point conversion.
Well, and Sparby with the catch there, being able to pull that in, even though, you know, it's kind of a broken play, having the heads up to keep moving to make sure that defender's off him, so he's able to pull that in. So heads up play there too. Yeah,
absolutely, absolutely. You got 34 seconds left in the fourth quarter here. You know, the score's 58-34. It hasn't been as close recently. You've got late scores by Necedah, so the game, you know, was a little bit more out of reach than what I think the score indicates right now. But the other thing, too, is New Lisbon has played 2 teams ranked in the top 3 in the state.
Yes.
In Bangor, great football team. I believe they coming off a state victory or at least a state appearance last year in football. And then a Blackhawk team early on that was just a good team. So Necedah played some good opponents in their 3 losses. I think they have, you know, quality losses, I would call them. So I mean, despite a 3-3 record that, you know, on the first glance may not look as super impressive, they really played some tough ball teams. And the surprise onside kick. Still ball's loose. Somebody's got to get it.
Murphy's kickoff recovered by Jake Rogers. The Rockets take over.
You know, a couple opportunities. You know, there's 2 Cardinals in the area there that could have had that one. If you're a coach, you know, on New Lisbon's team, you're kind of coaching some urgency there, going, you know, I know we're up, but you still got to do the right thing and get on that ball.
Well, heads up play for the Rockets to jump on that, but yeah, Cardinals had their opportunities to pick up that ball. And as you said earlier, I think they just missed out on an opportunity there. Victory formation?
Yeah, yep, they're gonna take a knee. A lot of respect, I think, here, and I think they can just run this off, if I'm not mistaken. Although if they do have to snap the ball, they'll only have to snap it one more time, and then they'll have enough to run it off.
You know, good sportsmanship right there.
Yeah, a lot of respect for these guys. And I think, you know, I think the world's changed a little bit too. Even when you and I were in high school in the early 2000s, we kind of have more of a global culture. I think a lot of kids can interact with kids that are 30, 40, you know, miles away. Not that these guys are that far away, but I mean, that's really not anything anymore with Facebook, and when you have a lot of the, you know, Instagram and Snapchat and all the things that I don't know anything about. But you know, the kind of global culture, global community is a lot different than it was, and so I mean, a lot of these guys are probably more aware of each other than what you and I would have been with the guys we were playing against in high school.
Oh, exactly. You would never see them until the season, until you played, or if you were in a camp. But great sign of sportsmanship here, shaking hands. Both teams have, you know, they both played very well against each other.
Yep.
Just the New Lisbon Rockets came on top today.
Yeah, and for a team that, you know, for a team that came in at 3-3 but has seen some tough opponents, they really showed good mental resiliency. You know, wish the best for both teams. You'd like to see Necedah be able to capitalize on some of the things that they did really, really well. And you know, hats off to New Lisbon. So I just, you know, Eric, thanks for coming by tonight.
Not a problem, Jared. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys for joining us today. Yeah, so we're here at New Lisbon celebrating a homecoming victory over Necedah. Well fought to both teams. You know, hope that those guys that have injuries and bumps can heal up soon. And we look forward to seeing you again. So thank you from Image Pictures and Links 24. Have a good night.
Thank you.
We want to thank our sponsors for making it possible to bring you this New Lisbon Rockets football game. Links, reliable, trusted service for your internet, TV, and telephone. Dean's Refrigeration and Heating, Efficiency is our business. Comfort is your reward. Timberwood Bank. Reliable, friendly, dedicated. Baroque Winery. Not only one of Wisconsin's premier wineries, they also host gatherings up to 90 people. Image Production Studios. Life is short. Make it an amazing story.